Hanju chose the second option without hesitation. Hanju chose the second option without hesitation. Come out now. Impossible. Hanju had already come into contact with a Mahayana realm cultivator. In his opinion, it would definitely be dangerous if he didn't reach the Mahayana realm himself. Otherwise, why would Zhou Fan die in his previous life? Even the Mahayana realm might not be safe in this world. You chose to continue your seclusion and cultivate in a low profile. Stay away from the secular world and obtain a natural treasure. Congratulations on obtaining the Earth Immortal Gourd Seed. Earth Immortal Gourd Seed. It blooms in 1,000 years and bears fruit in 10,000 years. It can be eaten or used to refine Dharma treasures. If the fruit is nurtured for a long time, it can automatically become a Dharma treasure and give birth to life. Hanju blinked. The first thing he thought of when he saw the seed of the Earth Immortal Gourd was the Calabash brothers. Next was the legendary Khanate gourd in Chinese mythology. Hanju continued to consolidate his cultivation and opened his attributes panel. Name: Hanju. Lifespan: 356/27900. Race: Human Mortal Transcendence Stage. Cultivation: Level 1 of the Body Integration Realm. Technique: 6 paths of reincarnation can be inherited. Magic: Unparalleled Finger Divine Sword. 7 illusionary steps, 3 pure shadow sword unparalleled. 9 dragons devil expelling seal, major Kiliacosm thunderstorm. Wind god technique, still face technique. Mystical power. 6 paths soul absorption, heavenly punishment ghost deity sword. Imitate heaven and earth, somersault cloud. 10,000 sword sect can be inherited. Tathagata incantation, 6 paths ultimate seal, firmament sword chi. Equipment: Golden Cicada's Mystic Divine Robe, 7th grade Numinous Treasure. Little Universe Belt Qilin Sword, Demon Binding Rope, Burning Fiend Bell, 6th grade Numinous Treasure. 9-star Spirit Trampling Boots, 5th grade Numinous Treasure. Frost Lord's Glazed Crown, 4th grade Numinous Treasure. Book of Misfortune Supreme, grade Numinous Treasure. Earth Emperor's Soul Ward, 3rd grade Numinous Treasure. Heart Protecting Immortal Chain, 3rd grade Numinous Treasure. Calm Meditation Mat, Grand Unity 6th grade Numinous Treasure. Sword Intent. Reincarnation Sword Intent Grand Unity. Self-created Mystical Power. 3 Pure World Cleansing Eternal. Birth Dharma Treasure. Primordial Judgment Sword, Cultivation Potential. Spiritual Physique of the 6 Paths. It contains top-notch wind, fire, water, earth, wood and thunder cultivation potentials. Increases providence to a certain extent. Follow new episodes on the Light Novel World. Com platform. Khanate providence is as follows. Unparalleled. Immortal Beauty Top-notch Charm. Destined Sword Fanatic. Top-notch Sword Dao Aptitude. Top-notch Sword Dao Learning Ability. Unparalleled Movement Technique. Top-notch Movement Technique Aptitude. Descendant of the Immortal Emperor. After the game begins, you will receive an unparalleled cultivation technique. Check interpersonal relationships. 27,900 years. Amazing. As expected of the 6 paths of reincarnation technique, the higher one's cultivation realm was, the faster their lifespan would increase. Hanju was arrogant now. The increase in lifespan felt better than the increase in cultivation. Hanju felt a greater sense of security with his body integration realm cultivation, not to mention Great Yin. He was already a top-notch expert in the cultivation world. But it was not enough. He had to continue cultivating. As for going out to have fun, what was the rush? How long would Hanju's lifespan be when he reached the Mahayana realm? At that time, he would have plenty of time to be carefree. Today's bitter cultivation would be the foundation for him to be carefree in the future. Several days later, after Hanju's cultivation completely stabilized, he stood up and left quickly. He did not greet the elders in the distance to avoid trouble. The elders did not mind. Instead, they admired him even more. As expected of the deity-slaying elder, his Tao heart was truly firm. If such a person did not become an immortal, who was worthy of becoming one? After returning to the entrance of the Khanate cave abode, Hanju bumped into Xing Hongxian. The Black Hell Chicken was beside her, chatting with her. The source of this content is Light Novel World. The black hell chicken could now expand and shrink as it pleased. It was now about the size of a normal rooster. Sun Chang'an was still meditating under the fusang tree, not daring to approach Xing Hongxian. As soon as she saw him, Xing Hongxian immediately pounced over. "Husband, have you broken through?" Xing Hongxian asked excitedly. Hanju rarely left the cave abode. As long as he left, it must be to break through. Hanju nodded and said, "Let's go in first." The two entered the Khanate cave abode. The black hell chicken wanted to follow, but was blocked by the array formation. It arrived in front of Sun Chang'an and smiled. "Do you think Xing Hongxian will eat master?" Sun Chang'an's face twitched. "Perhaps." Hearing the black hell chicken's words, Sun Chang'an suddenly thought of his beloved, and a small flame ignited in his heart. Damn it! Is this foul chicken doing this on purpose? This sentence was too hurtful. Sun Chang'an's heart, which was as dry as a well, stirred again. The seal of the love tribulation began to loosen. Although my master doesn't like to go out, there are always women who come looking for him and want to eat him. What do you think will happen if they are alone in the same room? Will our master be in danger? Sun Chang'an glared at it and cursed. Get lost. Go cultivate. The black hell chicken was depressed. What was wrong with this kid? What a temper. Inside the Khanate cave abode, Xing Hongxian stood in front of Hanju and became angrier as she talked about enlightened old monster. She was unhappy with the elder's high and mighty attitude, as if the Jade Pure sect was a remote village, and Hanju was only a mortal. Hanju smiled and asked, "What he said is true. Aren't you tempted? Visit Light Novel World. Calm for a better experience." Xing Hongxian sat down and smiled as she replied, "How can that be? I'm going to keep pestering you. My husband will definitely become an immortal. I'm still waiting for you to rise up." As she spoke, she took out a bottle of pills from her sleeve and said, "I found this bottle in the mystic realm. The spirit chi is very strong. I only sniffed it, and my golden core became unstable. Therefore it doesn't suit me. It should suit you, my husband." Hanju took the bottle and opened it. Spirit chi was indeed abundant. He injected his 6 paths spirit energy into it. There was no danger. "Yes, thank you." Hanju smiled. Xing Hongxian smiled. Several days later, she left the cave abode in satisfaction. On the wasteland, the setting sun was like blood as it continued to the end of the world. Zhou Fan and Mo Fuzhou sat on a huge rock. After successfully breaking through, Zhou Fan was in high spirits. From time to time, he would twist his neck and admire his perfect body. "Senior, let me take revenge for you first. After that, I plan to conquer the world and make a name for myself. I want to be number 1 in the world," Zhou Fan said proudly, his tone filled with confidence. Mo Fuzhou said helplessly, "You're only at the nascent soul realm. How dare you be so arrogant?" Zhou Fan smiled and said, "I'm not stupid. I'll definitely start challenging cultivators of the same cultivation realm. I want to prove to her that I'm worthy of her." A few decades ago, Mo Fuzhou and Zhou Fan met a woman. Zhou Fan fell in love at first sight and wanted to pursue her. However, she had a powerful background and said that it was impossible for them to be together. Even if they were in love, her father would not agree. If she wanted to marry, she could only marry a powerful cultivator. These words stimulated Zhou Fan. He hated it when others looked down on him. Therefore he took the extreme path. Mo Fuzhou often advised against it, but it was useless. "Let's challenge the true martial sect first. I heard that there are many elites there." Zhou Fan smiled in high spirits. He suddenly thought of someone and smiled. "Senior, do you still remember Hanju from the Jade Pure sect? You said that he might be the deity-slaying elder, and that he had once killed a soul formation cultivator. I think that with my current strength, I can match up to a soul formation cultivator. Have I finally caught up to him?" "Hanju," Mo Fuzhou frowned and said, "Brother Han's aptitude is very high, and he has been cultivating in seclusion. His cultivation level is probably very high. I'm afraid that just the strength of the soul formation realm isn't enough to defeat him." After leaving Great Yin for so long, he wondered how the Jade Pure sect was doing. Zhou Fan shook his head and smiled. "How is that possible? It's not right to cultivate in seclusion. You and I are both mortals. How can cultivation alone be enough for a mortal to become an immortal? You have to seek opportunities in the world. Look at me. My cultivation level has advanced by leaps and bounds. My former enemy is also cultivating, but he's still stuck at his original realm. Visit Light Novel World. Calm for a better experience. When I go back in the future, I have to spar with Hanju and let him realize this. When the time comes, bring him along and the three of us will walk the world together and make a name for ourselves. Isn't that great? A Chinese cartoon. On the 7th day after Xing Hongxian left, Hanju took out the seed of the earth immortal gourd and walked out of the cave abode. On the 7th day after Xing Hongxian left, Hanju took out the seed of the earth immortal gourd and walked out of the cave abode. He came to the Fusang tree and buried the seed in the soil. He then injected his 6 paths spirit energy to nourish it. He had to personally plant such a treasure. Sun Chang'an's cultivation techniques were limited. Most of the time, he let the Fusang tree grow on its own. Fortunately, the divine tree was strong. Master, what's this? Sun Chang'an asked curiously. Hanju replied, a gourd seed. You have to take care of it in the future. Sun Chang'an was curious. Where did Hanju get a gourd seed? As the Fusang tree continued to grow, Sun Chang'an discovered that this tree was not simple. The amount of spirit qi it gave birth to was already huge, and its yield exceeded all the other treasures on the mountain. Sun Chang'an wasn't stupid. Was such a treasure really from the Jade Pure sect? When Li Qingzi passed by earlier, he was still very shocked. His master's background was far beyond his imagination. Hanju observed the Fusang tree for a while before returning to his cave abode. He had just broken through to the body integration realm and was not in a hurry to cultivate. He took out the Book of Misfortune and prepared to curse enlightened old monster. You dare to steal my companion and want to eradicate me for good? Making his mind, 6 paths spirit energy surged into the Book of Misfortune. The formless sect was a cultivation sect that had been passed down for nearly 10,000 years. It had deep foundations. The mountain gate was like a fairyland. There were continuous mountains and clouds. Rows of white cranes could be seen flying past. There were also oxen and horses galloping above the colorful clouds. There was a majestic waterfall between 2 10,000 feet high peaks. At the bottom of the waterfall, a figure sat on the surface of the lake, enduring the terrifying impact of the waterfall. Strong winds swirled around him as if blades were slicing water. Enlightened old monster stood on the grass by the lake. He stroked his beard and looked over with a satisfied smile on his face. With Xiener's potential, he will definitely be chosen by the heavenly immortal manor. Enlightened old monster couldn't help but smile when he thought of his disciple, Dong Wangxian, stirring up trouble in the heavenly immortal manor, and eventually becoming a top-notch cultivator in the world, or even ascending. His aptitude had already reached its limits, and it was very difficult for him to break through to the tribulation transcendence realm. Thus he placed his hopes on his disciple. The source of this content is Light Novel World. Calm at this moment. Enlightened old monster's vitality suddenly became chaotic. His essence soul shook, and the world spun around him. His body swayed, and he nearly fell. A mouthful of blood flowed down his throat. He couldn't help but spit it out. He hurriedly sat down and began to circulate his energy to heal his injuries. Under the waterfall, Dong Wangxian opened his eyes. 2 beams of light shot out from his eyes, piercing through the water. He immediately stood up and appeared beside enlightened old monster. In the light of the sun, Dong Wangxian stood bare-chested, his muscles clearly defined. He was not bloated or gaunt. He had an indescribable beauty to him. His features were angular, his eyebrows sharp, and his eyes bright. His wet black hair rose up steaming. Strands of black hair floated up and dried. Dong Wangxian frowned. Master, what's wrong? Enlightened old monster did not open his eyes. Instead, he gritted his teeth and said, Someone is cursing me. Enlightened old monster was a body integration realm cultivator, after all. His knowledge was greater than that of Shaoyi, Taoist Calm Sky, and Demon King Dian Su. He understood his own cultivation very well. He couldn't have suffered such a heavy injury for no reason. Someone must be cursing him behind his back. Dong Wangxian frowned even harder and asked, Who could it be? Tell me. I'll go and kill him immediately. I'm not sure either. I can't deduce the origins of this curse. You don't have to worry about it. Cultivate well, and try to master the mystical power as soon as possible. After Enlightened Old Monster finished speaking, he did not say anything else, and focused on healing his injuries. Dong Wuxian was about to leave when Enlightened Old Monster spat out another mouthful of blood. How strong is the enemy to be able to make a 7th level body integration realm cultivator suffer like this? Dong Wuxian was deep in thought. He cursed for half a day. When the system indicated danger, Hanju stopped and started healing. Several days later he recovered. That guy must be suffering, Hanju thought proudly. Then he returned to his cultivation. The source of this content is Light Novel World. He was no longer afraid of Enlightened Old Monster attacking him. After all, he was also at the body integration realm. Hanju first cultivated the 7th level of the 6 paths of reincarnation technique. The 7th level of the mental cultivation technique was much more profound than before. Cultivating it was also more complicated. 10 days later, Hanju grasped it with his powerful aptitude and started to absorb qi to increase his cultivation. Hanju was pleasantly surprised to find that as his cultivation level increased, his cultivation speed didn't slow down. It was mainly because his potential also began to show. He breathed in the spirit qi of heaven and earth like a whale swallowing water, and could feel his cultivation level increasing every day. Apart from his aptitude, it was also thanks to the Fusang tree and the spirit qi that he had cultivated on this immortal mountain. Every once in a while, Li Qingzi would get someone to come to the Cultivate Diligently Become Immortal mountain and plant even better natural treasures, causing the spirit qi to constantly increase. He wanted Hanju to be unwilling to leave, although Hanju said that he didn't want to leave and was afraid that there would be too much trouble outside. Li Qingzi knew that once Hanju felt that there was insufficient spirit qi here, he would definitely leave. It was the same for the founder back then. Cultivation was endless, and the seclusion of powerful cultivators took decades. In the blink of an eye, 15 years passed quickly. Hanju successfully broke through to the 2nd level of the body integration realm. He had already taken the pill that Xing Hongxian had given him. That pill could actually strengthen his physique and increase his cultivation level. Hanju had always been a spirit qi cultivator. His spirit energy could allow him to kill enemies at a higher cultivation level, but the strength of his body was similar to those at the same cultivation level. Fortunately, he had many numinous treasures that could defend his body. After the breakthrough, Hanju left the cave abode again. He walked in front of the Fusang tree and stretched his muscles. The seed of the Earth Immortal Gourd had already started to grow vines that wrapped around the Fusang tree like a green snake. It was still too early for the Earth Immortal Gourd to bloom and bear fruit. Hanju only hoped that it could help strengthen the spirit qi here. As he stretched, he opened his interpersonal relationships to check his emails. After so many years, he wondered how his friends were doing. Your pet, the chaotic heavenly dog, was attacked by beasts X18928. Your disciple Su Chi was attacked by a fellow disciple X76. Your disciple Su Chi has fallen into the abyss. His fate is unknown. For more, visit Light Novel World. Your disciple Su Chi spread bad luck. The luck of the demon taming sect is declining. The chance of the entire sect's disciples encountering inner demons has increased. Your pet, chaotic heavenly dog, was attacked by righteous cultivators, X3422. Your good friend Chang Yuer has comprehended the sun and moon. Her cultivation has increased greatly. Your good friend Taoist 9 Cauldrons was attacked by demons and was severely injured. His life is hanging by a thread. Your good friend Zhou Fan was attacked by a righteous cultivator, X4893. Your good friend Mo Fuzhou was attacked by a righteous cultivator, X4211. Hanju was secretly shocked. How tragic. Almost everyone was beaten up. Su Chi had fallen into the abyss, probably because of the demon taming sect. They were in trouble now. Also, the chaotic heavenly dog was truly mad. It provoked enemies everywhere and constantly fought. Just as Hanju was thinking, Sun Chang'an suddenly said, Master, recently, the Fusang tree will shake on its own at night. What's going on? Puzzled, Hanju asked. Shake on its own? Has it become a spirit? Sun Chang'an shook his head. He didn't know either. Hanju probed the Fusang tree with his divine sense, but didn't sense the existence of an essence soul. If it became a spirit and developed intelligence, it would definitely have an essence soul. Hanju decided to observe carefully. The Fusang tree must be sick. Night fell. Hanju walked out of the Khanate cave abode and found that the Fusang tree was indeed shaking as invisible hands were shaking the trunk. Sun Chang'an was obviously a little afraid and stayed far away. Hanju observed for a while, then his expression became strange. Could it be? Follow new episodes on the light novel world. Com platform. What was the Fusang tree summoning? Northern Yen. Northern Yen. Inside the Khanate cave abode, Demon King Dian Su opened his eyes and frowned. Ever since he went to the Jade Pure sect, his nightmare had come to an end. Therefore, he had made the best use of his time to recuperate until today. But recently, he had been feeling uneasy. This uneasiness came out of nowhere. Even his demonic blood stirred. What's going on? Is that immortal trying to harm me again? The more he thought about it, the more miserable he felt. After being sealed for 2,000 years, he had been heavily injured before he could even take revenge. Demon King Dian Su felt that his subordinates were laughing at him. The more he thought about it, the more frustrated he became. An evil fire burned in his heart. He really wanted to slaughter the entire Great Yen. Forget it. He had to endure it. Demon King Dian Su sighed and closed his eyes to continue cultivating. Above the sea of clouds was a huge mirror-like lake. Surrounded by clouds, it was as beautiful as a painting. Xian Qingjun and a purple-robed woman sat by the lake. The purple-robed woman was the mighty figure who had saved Zhou Fan. Senior sister, aren't you ascending? The purple-robed woman turned her head and asked. Xian Qingjun didn't open her eyes as she replied. It's not time yet. The purple-robed woman clicked her tongue in wonder. I really don't understand all of you. You could have ascended at the Tribulation Transcendence realm. Even now that you've reached the Mahayana realm and have completely elevated your body, you can already do well in the immortal realm. What are you waiting for? Xian Qingjun didn't reply but asked instead, how is Zhou Fan? Don't mention it. Compared to his previous life, this kid is like a completely different person. He's extremely impatient and might even need me to save him one day. However, he already completely trusts me. Yes, this child is an important part of our plan. Don't let him die, and don't let him resist you. He won't. This child lacked love since he was young. If you treat him well, he will be loyal. Speaking of which, I have a Dao companion in the Jade Pure sect. Ah, senior sister, you actually found a partner. The purple-robed woman's eyes widened. She immediately became interested and kept asking about him. Xian Qingjun recalled the past and smiled. I wanted to see the sect Zhou Fan was from. I didn't expect to meet a kid that I liked. This kid is an ascetic. After so many years, he might have reached the soul formation realm. The purple-robed woman said in surprise. His potential isn't inferior to Zhou Fan's? Of course. I'll bring you to see him next time. Xian Qingjun smiled when she mentioned Hanju. Even after walking around the world, she found that Hanju was still the most handsome man she had ever seen. His personality was also very likable. At this moment, the surface of the mirror quickly turned fiery red. The wind howled, and heat waves scattered the sea of clouds. Xian Qingjun and the purple-robed woman immediately stood up. They looked down and saw a huge firebird with a wingspan of 1,000 feet flying past. The purple-robed woman asked in astonishment, Divine Beast Judo? The legendary divine beast that represents calamity. Xian Qingjun frowned. This Judo isn't mature yet, but it's already filled with the aura of misfortune. Something must be attracting it. TSK. I wonder which place is so unlucky to attract the Judo. Ever since he discovered that the Fusang tree would shake every night, Hanju began to feel uneasy. He felt that the tree would attract something. Could it be the legendary golden crow? Impossible. Isn't the golden crow hanging in the sky? The most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. He didn't see the sun getting lower. Hanju paid attention. He didn't dare to focus on his cultivation. Several days later, Li Qingzi came to visit. After entering the cave abode, he sat on a chair and said with a smile, "Elder Han, recently, the Jade Pure sect has welcomed a joyous occasion. We discovered the ruins of an ancient sect with many resources inside. There are cultivation techniques, treasures, and even Dharma treasures. Do you want to take a look?" Hanju frowned and asked, "Has this matter spread?" If such an opportunity were to spread, it would definitely attract all the cultivators in the world. Of course not. This is a secret of the sect. Elder Guan has already brought 5 elders and 100 core disciples to guard it. The teleportation formation is about to be set up. When the time comes, the disciples of the Jade Pure sect can directly enter the ruins. Li Qingzi smiled proudly. Over the past few years, the Jade Pure sect had been steadily developing. They did not provoke any enemies, and more itinerant cultivators joined the sect. Most of the cultivators in the cultivation world had forgotten about the deity-slaying elder, but the upper echelons of the various sects still remembered him. Therefore, they didn't dare to provoke the Jade Pure sect, or even stop its development. Hanju nodded and said, "That's good. I won't go. Be careful. Usually, this kind of ruins might have restrictions." "I understand. If I find any treasure that can increase spirit chi, I'll get someone to send it over." "Thank you, Sect Master. You're welcome." The two of them chatted briefly before Li Qingzi left in a hurry. Hanju's mood improved. He was very satisfied with the peaceful strengthening of the Jade Pure sect. The stronger the sect was, the more he could cultivate in seclusion and peace. Hanju suddenly realized that Sun Chang'an was gone. He immediately used his divine sense to track him, and discovered that he was in an inn in the inner sect city. In the northern part of Great Yen, flames appeared in the sky, illuminating it. The ice and snow on the ground melted at a speed visible to the naked eye. Countless demons escaped from their cave abodes and looked towards the horizon, including Demon King Diansu. For more, visit Light Novel World. Calm as Diansu stood at the entrance and looked at the sky, the light from the fire illuminated his face. He was shocked. "That's judo. How is that possible?" "Oh no." Almost scared out of his wits, Diansu immediately entered the cave abode. Mud rose from the cave entrance and quickly formed a mountain wall. The divine beast Judo spread its wings and flew over. It was like the legendary golden crow sweeping across the land. Wherever it passed, the ice melted, turning into a lake before evaporating into smoke. Judo was shaped like a firebird. It had a head like a dog and 3 legs. Its claws were different from that of a ferocious bird, and more like dragon claws. The overall appearance made it look extremely powerful and unstoppable. The thousands of miles of snow melted under its heat. Its eyes glowed like torches as it looked in the direction of the Jade Pure sect. Jade Pure sect intersect in. In the guest room, Sun Chang'an sat at the table with a wine cup in his hand. He smiled and said, "Qianer, how do you feel about coming to the Jade Pure sect? I've already joined the sect for decades. If you encounter any trouble, you can look for me anytime." He looked at a graceful woman by the window. She was dressed in green. Her long hair reached her waist and her skin was fair and beautiful. Although she was not so beautiful that she could cause the downfall of a city, she was still a rare beauty. The woman called Qianer tucked her hair behind her ear and said, "Chang'an, you don't have to treat me like this. It's really impossible between us. Perhaps you're doing well in the Jade Pure sect, but I can't give myself to you for the sake of benefits." Sun Chang'an's heart ached when he heard this. He gritted his teeth and said, "Why? Because of my looks? I can put on a handsome face." Qianer turned around and looked at him. Her beautiful eyes were filled with dissatisfaction as she said, "What is real is real. What is fake will always be fake. If I love you, even if the seas run dry and the stones crumble, my heart will never change. If I don't love you, even if the world is destroyed and only you and I are left, I will never fall in love with you." Heartache. Sun Chang'an crushed the cup in his hand. His palm did not bleed, but his heart did. At this moment, the light of the fire shone on Qianer's back, and a hot wind blew in. Sun Chang'an's eyes widened. Qianer subconsciously turned around, and saw that the sky was quickly dyed red. A sun was speeding over from the horizon. Updated from Light Novel World. Calm Divine Beast Judo. What's that? Qianna asked in horror. What's that? Qianna asked in horror. This was the first time she had seen such a terrifying scene. Sun Chang'an walked to her side, and was also shocked when he saw this. It wasn't just them. Even the 18 peaks, inner sect and outer sect noticed this scene. Boom! The Jade Pure sect exploded into a commotion. More and more disciples flew up on their swords, and looked into the distance in horror. What's that? The sun. Oh my god, demons are attacking? What a terrifying heat. When it comes, won't the sect be destroyed? Am I seeing things? It's over. What should we do? Activate the sect protection formation? As the disciples discussed in horror, the elders immediately raised the sect protection formation. Li Qingzi had just walked out of the Cultivate Diligently Become Immortal mountain, and had yet to return to the main peak, when he saw Zhu Do coming in menacingly. His eyes widened like he was seeing a ghost. At the same time, a line of words suddenly appeared in front of Han Ju. The divine beast Zhu Do is attacking. It wants to occupy the Fusang tree. Zhu Do, 5th level of body integration realm, divine beast of calamity, son of the vermilion bird, bearer of connate misfortune, and burns with the flames of the sun, capable of destroying the world. Han Ju was shocked. Divine beast Zhu Do? The divine beast of calamity? Han Ju hurriedly flashed out of the cave abode. He appeared at the edge of the cliff and looked at the sky. The sky was already dyed red as if dusk had fallen. Zhu Do, the divine beast, was rapidly growing in size. It was getting closer and closer to the Jade Pure sect. Han Ju felt the terrifying heat, and instantly determined that the Jade Pure sect's sect protection formation might not be able to withstand it. Once the Zhu Do landed on the Cultivate Diligently Become Immortal mountain, everything on the mountain would turn to ash. Not only that, but the entire Jade Pure sect would also be destroyed. Master, run! The Black Hell Chicken flew to Han Ju's side and shouted nervously. Han Ju frowned and didn't answer. The source of this content is Light Novel World. He sent a voice transmission to the Zhu Do. Stop! However, the Zhu Do completely ignored him, and instead accelerated. The terrifying heat burned the forest on the ground, and the fire spread to the Jade Pure sect at an unbelievable speed. At that moment, all the disciples of the sect were frightened. Li Qingzi subconsciously flew towards the Cultivate Diligently Become Immortal mountain, wanting to seek Han Ju's help. However, before he entered the mountain, he saw a sword beam fly out from the Immortal mountain. It tore through the sky. The sword beam was extremely eye-catching in the fiery sky, like a shooting star in the night. Many disciples witnessed this scene. That sword light was Han Ju. This time Han Ju didn't fly on his sword. Instead, he rushed towards the Zhu Do at full speed. He couldn't let it approach the sect, or it would be finished. A mountain of natural treasures that had been nurtured for 200 years could not be destroyed like this. Han Ju took out the primordial judgment sword and activated all the numinous treasures on his body. 7th grade numinous treasure, Golden Cicada's mystic divine robe, activated. 5th grade 9-star spirit trampling boots, activated. 4th grade Frost Lord's glazed crown, activated. 3rd grade Earth Emperor's soul ward, activated. 3rd grade heart protecting immortal chain, activated. 6th grade numinous treasure, burning fiend bell, shielding him from above. In an instant, Han Ju couldn't feel the heat of the Zhu Do's fire. The Zhu Do clearly saw Han Ju and accelerated towards him. It opened its mouth, as if it wanted to swallow him whole. Divine Beast Zhu Do has developed hatred towards you. Current hatred points, 5 stars. Damn it. What a vile beast. It hated him so much the moment they met. Go and die. Killing intent burst out from Han Ju's eyes, and he suddenly slashed with his sword. The reincarnation sword intent fused into the sword blade. 6 paths spirit energy transformed into sword chi, and erupted like a volcano. Updated from Light Novel World. A black sword chi appeared in the sky like a black crescent moon, shocking many disciples of the Jade Pure sect. Heavenly Punishment Ghost Deity Sword. Boom! The sword chi collided with the Zhu Do, and exploded as the divine beast stopped moving. But it wasn't dead yet. Although it was only at the 5th level of the body integration realm, it was a divine beast. Its strength and physical strength far exceeded that of a spirit. Even so, facing Hanju's domineering sword, the judo still fell into a daze. Hanju didn't stop. He raised his sword and pointed it at the sky. A terrifying sword chi rushed into the sky, forming a huge vortex visible to the naked eye. Sword shadows condensed out of thin air. 3 pure world cleansing. In less than a second, more than 10,000 sword shadows shot towards the judo from all directions. The disciples of the sect only saw a sword flash before their eyes. Immediately after, the sword chi exploded. The intense light that burst forth caused the world to lose its color. They were shaken until they closed their eyes. Hanju had already given it his all. If he couldn't kill the judo, he would fall into a fierce battle here. As it is your first time killing a divine beast, you have obtained a Sword Dao mystical power inheritance. Congratulations on obtaining mystical power. Heaven Earth Mystic Yellow World Piercing Sword Finger. Heaven Earth Mystic Yellow World Piercing Sword Finger. Sword Dao mystical power. Using the finger to shoot out sword chi, kill enemies 10,000 miles away. The strength and range of the sword chi depend on the user's cultivation level. Looking at the 3 lines of words, Hanju heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, the judo was dead. Hanju opened his eyes and saw that the judo was falling. The flames of the sun on its body quickly shrank, exposing skin full of holes. It was a ghastly sight. After being killed by 3 pure world cleansing, it was no longer the same. It was like a huge bloody corpse. Boom! The judo's corpse landed on the ground. Hanju waved his hand and used the wind god technique to blow out the flames in all directions. Fortunately, it was not the legendary true sun flame. Otherwise, it wouldn't be extinguished by mere blowing. Hanju looked at the corpse, not knowing what to do. At this moment, a familiar aura rushed over. Hanju turned around and saw the black hell chicken flying over quickly. For more, visit Light Novel World. Calm Master, don't destroy the corpse. Leave it to me. The black hell chicken shouted excitedly. Hanju was stunned. What does this chicken want? The black hell chicken landed in front of the judo's corpse. It quickly grew taller and became a terrifying giant chicken taller than a mountain, and began to peck at the corpse. Eating a divine beast. Shaking his head and ignoring it, Hanju quickly flew back to the immortal mountain. Li Qingzi waited at the entrance and asked nervously, Elder Han, what demon is that? Hanju replied, I'm not sure either. It's already dead. My chicken is eating its corpse. Tell the elders not to disturb it. He didn't dare to say that it was a divine beast. Killing a divine beast would easily leave others speechless. The reason why divine beasts were divine beasts was that people believed in their identity granted by the immortals. Li Qingzi nodded and quickly comforted the disciples. After returning to the cave abode, Hanju directly began to inherit the Heaven-Earth Mystic Yellow World Piercing Sword Finger. In the inn, Sun Chang'an wiped the sweat off his forehead and smiled. It should be my master. The calamity has been resolved. Regardless of the apocalypse, my feelings for you will not change. Qian'er was shocked. Is your master the legendary deity slaying elder of the Jade Pure sect? Sun Chang'an nodded. I heard that he's very good looking. Sun Chang'an's smile froze. On the other side, the disciples of the sect did not see clearly who had slain the divine beast Judo. However, the sword beam had come from the Cultivate Diligently Become Immortal mountain. They guessed that it was the sect's most mysterious elder. Several hours later, Hanju had already grasped the Heaven-Earth Mystic Yellow World Piercing Sword Finger. The Jade Pure sect regained its calm. After eating the divine beast, the Black Hell Chicken returned to the mountain forest behind the Cultivate Diligently Become Immortal mountain. It seemed to be refining the Judo's flesh and blood. Hanju scanned the surroundings of the sect with his divine sense, and heaved a sigh of relief. How dangerous! This calamity struck because of the Fusang tree, but he wouldn't reveal its secret. Divine Beast Vermilion Bird has developed hatred towards you. Current hatred points. 5 stars. Seeing a line of words jump out in front of him, Hanju's smile froze. Updated from Light Novel World. Com. Divine Beast Vermilion Bird? Divine Beast Vermilion Bird? Hanju came back to his senses. His first reaction was to think that the vermilion bird was crazy. It couldn't control its own child. Why blame him if it died? The Zhudo had caused the deaths of countless lives along the way. However, the vermilion bird was too famous. Hanju still cautiously checked his interpersonal relationships. The image of the vermilion bird was that of a bird, a perfect fit for Hanju's imagination. Vermilion bird. Mid-stage Grand Unity Earth Immortal Realm, Khanate Divine Beast. It has a strong providence, and is filled with hatred for you for killing its son. When you ascend, it will definitely seek revenge on you. Current hatred points. 5 stars Grand Unity Earth Immortal. Gasp, Hanju was shocked. It was so strong. He didn't know if there was a power difference between the Mahayana realm and the Grand Unity Earth Immortal realm. Regardless, they weren't existences Hanju could fight against. But why would the vermilion bird only seek revenge after he ascended? Could it be that it couldn't descend into the mortal world? Very likely. Perhaps this was an immortal rule. It seemed that if he wanted to ascend in the future, he had to at least be stronger than the vermilion bird. Otherwise, it would be very dangerous. Hanju thought as he silently took out the Book of Misfortune. He wondered if the book could curse a divine beast. Hanju cursed for a while but didn't suffer any backlash. It seemed to work. He decided that in the future, while cultivating, he would curse Enlightened Old Monster and the vermilion bird. The next morning, Sun Chang'an returned to the Fusang tree in a daze. Last night, he got drunk at the inn. The wine of the Jade Pure sect was unordinary. Cultivators could also get drunk after drinking it. This drunkenness caused Sun Chang'an to fall completely into the love tribulation. Hanju came out of the cave abode and stopped in front of him. The source of this content is Light Novel World. Calm Sun Chang'an was in a trance and didn't notice his arrival. Hanju frowned and couldn't help but recall Sun Chang'an's background. The ancient spiritual ginseng had reincarnated. In the previous life, it was nurtured by the Buddhists. Due to its fate with the demoness, it fell into a trap of love. The gods and Buddhas were furious and threw it into the mortal world to experience the tribulations of love. Only by completely forgetting itself and severing emotions would it be able to escape the pain of reincarnation. This was the 39th life. Sun Chang'an was born into a cultivation family and was extremely talented. However, he was ugly and was not liked by Qian'er. After being rejected by her many times, he was heartbroken and ended up becoming a monk. Hanju used his divine sense to capture the scene of Sun Chang'an and Qian'er talking. That scene. He was basically a simp. No, that was a modern term on the internet. Here it was called deep affection. One-sided deep affection. Hanju didn't know how to persuade Sun Chang'an. This was a love tribulation. How could he persuade him with words? Hanju called out, "Disciple." Sun Chang'an was stunned for a moment. When he saw him, he slowly got up and knelt in front of Hanju. His emotions suddenly erupted and he cried, "Master, I feel so bitter." For some reason, Hanju thought of Zhu Beiji. The two had the same trait. They were both ugly. Hanju sighed and said, "Disciple, relationships between men and women are bitter. This is the reason why I have been in seclusion." "But why would so many beauties come to you of their own accord? I only like one woman, but she." Sun Chang'an cried bitterly. Halfway up the mountain, a sleeping black hell chicken rolled over. "Idiot, can't you cultivate properly?" It harumphed. After eating the Zhudo, it could clearly feel its bloodline transforming. Excited, it felt that it would become very strong. It even began to look forward to the chaotic heavenly dog's return to challenge it. "Oh doggy, I'll let you know how powerful your father is." On the other side, faced with Sun Chang'an's question, Hanju said calmly, "It's only because I'm powerful. In this world, the strong are respected. If your cultivation is the best in the world, how can that woman not fall in love with you? Your cultivation is average, and you don't look good. What does she want from you? Your sincerity? Sincerity is the most worthless thing in the world. Cultivate the heartless flying sword I taught you. This technique can help you become the #1 in the world." Hearing this, Sun Chang'an looked up. His face that was covered in snot and tears became even uglier. Hanju almost turned his head away in disgust. He suddenly understood Qianer. However, all of this was the fault of the gods and Buddhas. They deliberately made Sun Chang'an look so ugly. Hanju had tried to change Sun Chang'an's appearance, but he quickly recovered his ugly face. It was very strange. Sun Chang'an's eyes widened. Really? Why would I lie to you? If someone else said this, Sun Chang'an would definitely not believe them. But since it was Hanju, he believed him. Currently, Hanju was indeed the strongest existence he knew. Thinking of Xing Hongshuan's attitude towards Hanju, Sun Chang'an was immediately ignited. Heartless flying sword. I must cultivate it until the end. Hanju didn't say much. Some words were meaningless. What he said was not entirely true. Humans were very contradictory existences. When they were weak, they would look down on sincerity and only want to become stronger. But when they were strong, they would pursue sincerity. Hanju went down the mountain to find the black hell chicken. After confirming that it was fine, he returned to the Khanate cave abode. After being hated by the vermilion bird, Hanju felt a sense of urgency again. Although the bird couldn't come down now, what if it could come down in the future? He had to hurry up and become stronger. 3 years later, the matter of the divine beast Judo attacking the Jade Pure sect had been settled. Very few people in the sect talked about it, but it caused a commotion in the cultivation world. When the Judo swept up the Great Yen, the scene was very impactful. Many people saw it. There were also scouts from various sects in the Jade Pure sect. When they learned that the Judo had been insta-killed by the deity-slaying elder, they were so frightened that they didn't dare to have any ill intentions. They could only try to befriend the Jade Pure sect, and try not to incur any grudges. There were no demon spies in the sect. The intelligence of the scouts from the various sects was not made known to the public. Therefore, the Judo's death was a secret that the demons couldn't find out. Demon King Dian Su was very curious about where the Judo had gone. Could it be related to the Jade Pure sect? This was the first time Dian Su feared the Jade Pure sect. This sect was not simple. On this day, Li Qingzi came to visit Hanju. He came in front of him. Before he could speak, Hanju said, "Don't look for me regarding the fortuitous encounter. I won't go." Li Qingzi coughed and said, "I didn't bring good news." Hanju frowned and opened his eyes. Li Qingzi sighed and said, "The Bloodfire Heavenly Sect of Great Wei and the Formless Sect of Gyuan State have started a war. These two sects are huge entities, with Great Yen and the West Abyss State in the middle. Once the war begins, our two states will very likely be engulfed." Hanju was speechless. They could fight despite being so far apart? Were they so free? Speaking of which, these two sects had a hidden grudge with Hanju. It's said that the prodigy of the formless sect, Dong Wangxian, killed the son of the sect master of the Bloodfire Heavenly Sect. The Bloodfire Heavenly Sect is in a state of high morale, so how could they tolerate it? They immediately started fighting. That body integration realm guest elder has already taken the lead in attacking the formless sect. Li Qingzi's tone was filled with envy. When would the Jade Pure sect have a body integration realm mighty figure? No. He would be satisfied with more void amalgamation and soul formation realm experts. Hanju said, "It's fine. Let them fight each other. As long as they don't threaten the Jade Pure sect. If they want to destroy us along the way, you can rest assured with me around." Now Hanju's enemy was already the Vermilion Bird. What were the Formless Sect and the Bloodfire Heavenly Sect in comparison? In addition, an old blind man appeared in the ruins of the ancient sect we discovered previously. His abilities are unfathomable. We wanted to rope him in, but he never agreed. He's currently staying in the inner sect city. Elder Han, do you think you can help us convince him? Li Qingzi said in embarrassment, feeling a little ashamed. If he wanted to poach someone, he still needed the deity-slaying elder. He was indeed not capable enough. Upon hearing this, Hanju immediately checked the strongest person in the sect other than himself. Xiao Yao, 9th level of the Void Amalgamation Realm. The #1 prodigy of the Heavenly Immortal Manor 5,000 years ago. The only survivor of the ancient spiritual firmament sect. Both eyes are blinded by heavenly punishment. Updated from Light Novel World. Calm the Pig and Journey to the West. Ninth level of the Void Amalgamation Realm? Ninth level of the Void Amalgamation Realm? The number one prodigy of the heavenly immortal manor 5,000 years ago. The only survivor of the ancient spiritual firmament sect. Both eyes were blinded by heavenly punishment. It was just one line of words, but Hanju was like, wow. Even with this sort of background, he was actually not a bearer of Khanate providence. Hanju asked, have you heard of the spiritual firmament sect? Li Qingzi replied, I've heard of it. It's said to be a large sect from 5,000 years ago. However, it offended the immortal gods and misfortune befell them from the heavens. The entire sect was annihilated. Elder Han, why are you asking about the spiritual firmament sect? Could it be that the ruins we found are from this sect? Hanju nodded. I made some deductions. This person's name is Xiao Yao, and he's from the spiritual firmament sect. Li Qingzi's eyes widened and he gasped. He had never heard of Xiao Yao, but he had heard of the spiritual firmament sect. What do we do now? Abandon the ruins? Li Qingzi asked cautiously. He was afraid they would find trouble for no reason. He only hoped that the Jade Pure sect could develop peacefully. As long as the sect was given time, it would grow stronger sooner or later, and become a large sect like the Bloodfire Heavenly sect and the Formless sect. Hanju replied, it's up to you. If it's easy to be punished by the heavens, it should have come long ago. I think that as long as the spiritual firmament sect doesn't reappear in the world, the treasures are safe. Li Qingzi nodded. It would be difficult for him to give up the resources. After all, the elders had already divided up a lot. Forget about Xiao Yao for the time being. Just continue with life. We can't force a horse to drink water after all, Hanju added. Li Qingzi had no objections. Hearing that Xiao Yao was from the spiritual firmament sect, his first reaction was to expel him. But on second thought, he couldn't defeat him. How could he expel him? Then Li Qingzi left. Hanju began to use the simulation trial against Xiao Yao. 10 seconds later, Hanju opened his eyes and looked surprised. This fellow is something. His mystical power is too evasive, Hanju muttered. The source of this content is Light Novel World. Xiao Yao could split into tens of thousands of clones, so Hanli could not kill him immediately. He was considered powerful since he could last 10 seconds under him. Hanju continued the simulation trial. He wanted to find a way to kill Xiao Yao. It felt like he was looking for a strategy to kill monsters. Hanju was happy. 5 minutes later, he finally found a way to kill Xiao Yao as soon as possible. However, as soon as the fight started, Xiao Yao used his cloning technique. After understanding his strength, Hanju became more interested in him. If such an expert joined the Jade Pure sect, he would be able to cultivate in peace. Then Hanju opened the emails. Your disciple Su Qi was captured by the Devil Master. Your disciple Su Qi spread bad luck. The fate of the Devil Master and his descendants has decreased. Your disciple Yang Tiandong was attacked by beasts X3872. Your divine pet, the chaotic heavenly dog, was attacked by a ferocious beast. It was severely injured but managed to escape. Your good friend Zhou Fan has awakened the mystical power of his previous life. His strength has increased greatly. Your good friend Guan Yugang was attacked by a fiendish cultivator, X2. Your divine pet, the black hell chicken, has devoured the divine beast Judo. Its bloodline has transformed. It has obtained the providence of calamity. Your good friend Taoist Calm Sky was attacked by a righteous cultivator, X5823. Taoist Calm Sky came from the Bloodfire Heavenly sect, and was attacked by so many people. It looked like the war between the Bloodfire Heavenly sect and the Formless sect had already begun. Su Qi and Yang Tiandong also encountered trouble. Hanju wasn't worried about Su Qi at all. As for Yang Tiandong, it was obvious that he had left the Great Yin. No demon in the Great Yin would dare to attack the Demon King's adopted son. For more, visit Light Novel World. Calm the chaotic heavenly dog had suffered retribution. It hadn't been beaten recently, so it was likely hiding somewhere to recuperate. He hoped that it would come to its senses and return soon. Hanju shook his head and laughed, then continued cultivating. At the second level of the body integration realm, Hanju was no longer afraid of the Bloodfire Heavenly sect and the Formless sect. However, Even if he was not in danger, he had to worry about the future. Hanju was afraid that the vermilion bird would break into the mortal world at any time. He had to hurry up and cultivate. He couldn't slack off. Deep in a dark valley, Suchi sat in a corner nervously looking at a figure in the distance. The person was surrounded by demonic chi. His face was frightening and covered in blood-colored scales. It was ghastly and terrifying. Suchi gritted his teeth. "Devil Master, I'm only a mortal. Please let me go." The Devil Master kept his eyes closed as he meditated. Suchi was angry but didn't dare to say anything. After a while, the Devil Master said leisurely, "Kid, if I wanted to kill you, you would already be dead. The fact that you're still alive means this is a fortuitous encounter for you. Just wait patiently." "Fortuitous encounter?" Suchi widened his eyes and carefully said, "You want to teach me your ultimate technique?" He was excited. Was this a blessing in disguise? Perhaps. "I can't read your fate, which shows that you have extraordinary providence. Perhaps you can inherit my legacy. If I can't fulfill my wish in the future, I'll hand it to you," the Devil Master replied nonchalantly. Suchi asked, "What wish?" "Massacre the humans." Suchi was stunned. As expected of the Devil Master. "If that's the case, then I'll hide here and find a chance to kill him." Suchi thought silently. He had always thought of himself as a kind person. Back then, he had joined the Jade Pure sect because he thought that it was a righteous sect. He even felt that Hanju had sent him to hide in the demon taming sect because he wanted to enforce justice on behalf of the heavens. After joining it, he discovered that this sect was indeed cruel, evil, and that the heavens did not tolerate it. Follow new episodes on the Light Novel World. Com platform. Suchi took a deep breath, his eyes becoming determined. "No matter what, Master must be secretly protecting me. I can't let him down." Time passed quickly. 10 years passed in the blink of an eye. Hanju was still a little short of the 3rd level of the body integration realm. He originally planned to break through to the 3rd level in one go before resting, but the Fusang tree started shaking again. The previous time, it had attracted the divine beast Judo. What would it attract this time? Hanju couldn't help but tense up. This couldn't go on. What should he do? He suddenly thought of the black hell chicken. If the chicken occupied the Fusang tree, would the other beasts and divine beasts not come anymore? Hanju immediately instructed the black hell chicken to move to the Fusang tree. After eating the Judo, the black hell chicken's cultivation had already soared to the 9th level of the soul formation realm. It was only a step away from the void amalgamation realm. This was simply cheating. However, on careful thought it made sense. The Judo might be a divine beast, but the black hell chicken was a reincarnated demon saint of the upper world. After receiving the order, the black hell chicken did not resist, and was even excited. It quickly flew to the Fusang tree, and sat on the trunk like a rooster hatching an egg. A few days later, when the Fusang tree stopped shaking, Hanju heaved a sigh of relief. He was about to continue cultivating when he suddenly sensed an aura. It was at the bottom of the mountain, sitting in front of the stone tablet that had formed the immortal mountain. It was the blind Xiaoyao. Hanju thought for a moment and asked with a voice transmission, "What's the matter, fellow Taoist?" Xiaoyao's hair was white, but his face was very young. He seemed to be in his 30s. His eyelids were black and shriveled. He was wearing a tattered Taoist robe and leaning against the stone tablet, as if he was napping. Upon hearing Hanju's voice transmission, he stretched lazily, slowly stood up, and said, "Your sect master has always been inviting me to join the sect. I've stayed in the Jade Pure sect for a period of time. You're the strongest deity-slaying elder, right? I don't mind joining the sect. If you can represent the Jade Pure sect to withstand a palm strike from me, I'll join you guys. For more, visit lightnovelworld.com. Hanju paused after hearing Xiaoyao's words. This was usually said by him. Now that he heard it from the other party, he felt inexplicably uncomfortable. Not afraid of fighting, he sent a voice transmission. "The two of us will go up to the sky and give it a go." With that said, he flew out of the Khanate cave abode and arrived above the sea of clouds. Xiaoyao appeared in front of Hanju. Without another word, Hanju poured the six paths spirit energy into all the numinous treasures on his body. In an instant, a strong light burst out from his body, making him look like an immortal descending to the mortal world. It was dazzling. Xiaoyao was blind, but his divine sense was still there. It didn't matter if he had eyes or not. So many numinous treasures. Xiaoyao frowned. He suddenly developed an interest in the Jade Pure sect. This person definitely had a method to hide his cultivation level. He couldn't be only at the 9th level of the Foundation Establishment realm. Xiaoyao raised his palm and said, "Since you're wearing so many numinous treasures, I won't hold back. I'll use my full strength." How cautious. He was at the 9th level of the Void Amalgamation realm, but still wanted to use his full strength. Was he sparring or killing? Hanju ridiculed him in his heart, but appeared calm on the surface. He said, "If I receive it, are you really willing to join the Jade Pure sect and listen to the sect master? Don't play word games." Xiaoyao said, "I never go back on my word. I do need a place to stay. The Jade Pure sect has given me a good impression." Hanju nodded and waited for him to strike. Xiaoyao raised his right hand, and the wind above the sea of clouds stopped. A murderous aura filled the air. Although Xiaoyao was blind, he clearly felt that Hanju was fearless. Xiaoyao really intended to hit with all his might. He suddenly waved his palm and hit Hanju's chest. Boom! The sea of clouds beneath their feet scattered. Xiaoyao was startled. He felt a strong rebound of spirit energy. This content is taken from Light Novel World. Calm caught off guard, he was forced back. At the 2nd level of the body integration realm, Hanju couldn't possibly lose to Xiaoyao, who was at the 9th level of the Void Amalgamation realm. In order to give him an opening gambit, Hanju deliberately used all his strength. As Xiaoyao retreated, his blood surged and he couldn't help spitting out a mouthful of blood. Shocked, Xiaoyao gritted his teeth. Body integration realm. Unexpectedly, there was actually a body integration realm cultivator, hidden in the sect, which had a nascent soul realm cultivator as its sect master. He had thought that the strongest cultivator in the Jade Pure sect was only at the soul formation realm, and a weak one at that. A sect that did not even have a void amalgamation realm cultivator actually had a body integration realm cultivator hiding within it. Xiaoyao steadied himself and took a deep breath. "From now on, I'm a member of the Jade Pure sect. Xiaoyao has a good impression of you. Current favorability, 1 star. He has a good impression of me already?" It seemed that this person was quite tactful. Satisfied, Hanju said, "Don't tell anyone about my cultivation." Xiaoyao was surprised. "The sect doesn't know?" "Yes. With my cultivation level, it would be too weird for me to stay in the sect. I'm also worried that the sect will cause trouble. Other than longevity, I have no desires, so I've been cultivating diligently," Hanju explained. Xiaoyao couldn't help but think highly of him. "That's all. Go find the sect master. He will arrange a position for you." Hanju smiled. With that he vanished. Xiaoyao remained in the air and thought for a long time. He then sighed and flew towards the sect's main peak. When he returned to the entrance of the cave abode, the Fusang tree's black hell chicken called out, "Master, why didn't you teach him a lesson? He's too arrogant. Shouldn't you strike back with your sword?" Sun Chang'an's cultivation was inferior to the chicken, so he didn't know what had just happened. Hanju glanced at the black hell chicken and said, "I'll give you a strike. Do you dare to take it?" "This chicken is a little too arrogant now. No, I have to suppress it. I have to maintain its image. The cautious chicken cannot lose its way." Visit Light Novel World. Calm for the best novel reading experience. The black hell chicken shook its head in fear. Hanju turned to look at the chicken and said with a voice transmission, "This person is hated by the immortal gods. Do you see his eyes? That's the outcome of the immortal god's curse." The black hell chicken's eyes widened. "Immortal god's curse. It's just so dangerous outside. Don't get too arrogant. You ate the judo. Do you know where it came from? It's the son of the divine beast, the vermilion bird. That being from the upper world has already set its eyes on you. You have to work hard to cultivate and become stronger. so as to prevent the vermilion bird from taking revenge. I've deduced that it already hates you and me, so I have to cultivate in seclusion. Hanju continued to transmit his voice. This time the black hell chicken was completely terrified. Vermilion bird. Gasp. The black hell chicken suddenly felt nauseous, but even if it wanted to vomit, it could not. Hanju was satisfied when he saw its reaction. He returned to the Khanate cave abode and began cultivating. Sun Chang'an was baffled to see the black hell chicken trembling. The next day, the Jade Pure sect announced a new elder, an elder at the Void Amalgamation realm. The entire sect was excited. This was a realm that only the founder had reached. Xiao Yao's name spread throughout the sect. Apart from being happy, Li Qingzi was even more respectful towards Hanju. Xiao Yao was not Hanju's match even though he was so strong. Most importantly, there was no movement in their fight. What did that mean? It meant that Hanju was far stronger than Xiao Yao, so the sparring didn't last long. Elder Han was the true pillar of the sect. With this in mind, Li Qingzi immediately met with the elders and informed them one by one to not ignore Hanju, because they wanted to curry favor with Xiao Yao. Hanju's demand was still the top priority of the Jade Pure sect. Nobody could afford to be negligent. 5 years passed very quickly, but the Great Yin was in turmoil. The Blood-Fire Heavenly sect of Great Wei bypassed the Great Yin and attacked the formless sect of Guyuan State. Both were super sects with deep foundations. Before the unification of the Great Wei, the Blood-Fire Heavenly sect had been extremely powerful, causing the surrounding cultivation world to tremble in fear. However, when the Blood-Fire Heavenly sect faced the formless sect, the battle situation made everyone's jaws drop. The Blood-Fire Heavenly sect had been completely demolished by the formless sect. Their body integration realm guest was severely injured and was hiding somewhere to recuperate. Meanwhile, the formless sect advanced toward the Great Wei. They came in menacingly and wanted to destroy the Blood-Fire Heavenly sect. All the sects of the cultivation world were trembling. The battle between the two colossi affected many sections. Truly, the fight between the big shots implicated the small fishes. Inside the Blood-Fire Heavenly sect, Daoist Calm Sky and sect master Lu Bumi were talking in a pavilion. Lu Bumi's face was pale. Facing the powerful formless sect, he, the sect master, could not hold on much longer. If the Blood-Fire Heavenly sect was destroyed, how would he answer to his ancestors? Daoist Calm Sky sighed and said, "Even that guest elder escaped. We can't defeat the formless sect." Lu Bumi gritted his teeth. "Then what should we do? We're already mortal enemies. Surrendering is not an option." The Blood-Fire Heavenly sect had become a joke in the cultivation world. After all, they had been so arrogant before. Daoist Calm Sky's eyes flickered. "Actually, we can submit to other sections. As long as we can guarantee the preservation of our own legacy, it's not strange for us to be a subsidiary force in the cultivation world. I've thought about it, but the sects around the Great Wei are even weaker than our Blood-Fire Heavenly sect. The powerful sects that can contend against the formless sect are too far away from us." The more Lu Bumi spoke, the more miserable his expression became. Even the heavens wanted the Blood-Fire Heavenly sect to perish. "We can seek refuge with the Jade Pure sect." Daoist Calm Sky narrowed his eyes. "5 years after Xiao Yao became an elder of the Jade Pure sect, Hanju finally broke through to the 3rd level of the body integration realm. 5 years after Xiao Yao became an elder of the Jade Pure sect, Hanju finally broke through to the 3rd level of the body integration realm. He walked out of the cave abode and came to the Fusang tree to stretch his muscles. Sun Chang'an and the Black Hell Chicken were cultivating. The Fusang tree and the Earth Immortal Gourd were both growing quite well. With their help, the spirit chi of the cultivate diligently become Immortal Mountain kept increasing steadily. Hanju was satisfied. It was indeed a divine tree. Its vitality was much stronger than other treasures. Ever since the Black Hell Chicken occupied the Fusang tree, it had not swayed under the night sky. Not to mention divine beasts, even ordinary beasts had not been summoned. Out of habit, Hanju opened his interpersonal relationships to check his emails. Your pet, the chaotic heavenly dog, was attacked by beasts X5877. Your pet, the chaotic heavenly dog, was severely injured and was on the brink of death. It was saved by a powerful demon and barely escaped death. Your disciple Yang Tiandong was cultivating in seclusion. He has comprehended the demonic Tao, and his cultivation has increased greatly. Your good friend Zhou Fan was attacked by a righteous cultivator, X3119. Your good friend Mo Fuzhou was attacked by a righteous cultivator, X3028. Your good friend Fairy Shi Xian obtained a fortuitous encounter, and her providence has increased. Your good friend Xiao Yao is suffering from the curse of the immortal gods. X5. Your disciple Su Qi cultivated a demonic technique. His divinity is awakening. Hanju was speechless. Really? What was the chaotic heavenly dog doing? He had been beaten up again. He had only just recovered from his severe injuries, and was severely injured again. Fortunately, he was a divine beast of providence. If it were anyone else, they would have long died. Mo Fuzhou and Zhou Fan should still be together. The number of times they had been beaten was very close. Based on Hanju and Zhou Fan's understanding, the one who had caused trouble was definitely Zhou Fan. Famous people were always unwilling to be ordinary. Perhaps this was fate. Hanju noticed that Fairy Shi Xian had obtained another fortuitous encounter. Visit Light Novel World. Com for the best novel reading experience in the past few decades. Fairy Shi Xian had been training outside. Her cultivation level had also been increasing, and there was hope of her breaking through to the soul formation realm. As the Jade Pure sect grew stronger, most of the elders' cultivation levels began to increase. This was a good thing. Xiao Yao was cursed by the immortal gods once a year. What was wrong with him? Hanju was suddenly worried. Would Xiao Yao bring trouble to the Jade Pure sect? As for Su Qi, his divinity had just begun to awaken. His bad luck was already terrifying enough. How exaggerated would it be after awakening? Hanju suddenly felt that it was the right thing to send Su Qi away. If he stayed in the Jade Pure sect for too long, he would harm it sooner or later. But speaking of which, Su Qi's life was actually quite tragic. The people around him would always die because of him, and he didn't know his previous life's identity. It was very likely that he felt the heavens were targeting him. Hanju suspected the intentions of the heavenly court that wanted him to descend to the mortal world. On second thought, with a calamity divine beast like the Zhu Do in the mortal world, it wasn't surprising even if a jinx appeared. It was precisely because of existences like the Zhu Do and the jinx that extremists like Thanos did not appear. Perhaps this was the deeper meaning of the heavenly court. Hanju guessed. Immediately, he took out the Book of Misfortune and began to curse Enlightened Old Monster and the Vermilion Bird. He took turns cursing them for 5 days. At the same time, on the main peak, Li Qingzi, the Grand Elder Xiao Yao, and the other elders gathered in the hall. They all looked at someone. This person was from the Blood-Fire Heavenly Sect. His name was Perfected Yin Lin. He was a Void Amalgamation Realm cultivator, and was an elder. Perfected Yin Lin was secretly puzzled. They're so weak. Apart from Xiao Yao, everyone else was no threat to him. He didn't understand why the sect master wanted to go under the Jade Pure sect. Even so, he still spoke honestly. The Blood-Fire Heavenly Sect was already at the edge of the cliff. They could only try their best. After he finished speaking, everyone looked at each other. Clearly, they did not expect the Blood-Fire Heavenly Sect to want to join the Jade Pure sect. For more, visit Light Novel World. Calmly Qingzi frowned and said, "Your sect and the Formless sect are in a huge battle. The Jade Pure sect doesn't want to be involved in trouble." He didn't have a good impression of the Blood-Fire Heavenly sect. In his opinion, they wanted to drag his sect down with them. Our sect master said that if the Jade Pure sect agrees, the Blood-Fire Heavenly sect can even directly join you and become the 19th peak of the Jade Pure sect. Li Qingzi couldn't help but look at the Grand Elder. The master and disciple looked at each other and saw temptation in each other's expressions. After the Blood-Fire Heavenly sect swallowed the Great Way, their foundation was already very strong. If the Jade Pure sect could swallow them, they would definitely soar. Li Qingzi stood up and said, "You guys chat first. I'll go out for a while." With that, he flew out of the hall. The elders all understood where he was going. He was definitely going to find the deity-slaying elder. Xiao Yao suddenly took a step forward and said, I don't know much about the Bloodfire Heavenly Sect. You and I are both elders. Why don't we spar and learn each other's strength? Perfected Yin Lin narrowed his eyes. All right. He was also very unconvinced and felt that the Jade Pure Sect was not worthy of the Bloodfire Heavenly Sect seeking refuge under them. Li Qingzi found Han Ju and explained the Bloodfire Heavenly Sect's purpose. Elder Han, what do you think? Li Qingzi asked. Han Ju frowned as he thought of the Formless Sect. Accepting the Bloodfire Heavenly Sect would definitely offend the Formless Sect. However, the Formless Sect's sect master, Enlightened Old Monster, was his enemy, so he was not afraid of offending him. Enlightened Old Monster was at the 7th level of the Body Integration Realm. At the 3rd level of Body Integration Realm, Han Ju was definitely not afraid of him. However, Enlightened Old Monster was not alone. Are you confident in resisting the Formless Sect? Han Ju asked. Li Qingzi sighed and said, the Formless Sect also seems to be targeting us. Their disciples have already entered the Great Yen. The various righteous sects of the Great Yen have also sent us letters asking for help. Han Ju raised his eyebrows. Was Enlightened Old Monster coming after him? Visit Light Novel World. Com for a better experience. Boom. An earth-shattering sound came from outside. Han Ju scanned with his divine sense. It was Xiao Yao and Perfected Yin Lin fighting. Xiao Yao was at the 9th level of the Void Amalgamation Realm, so Perfected Yin Lin was no match for him. Han Ju said calmly. In other words, we actually don't have a choice. Even if we reject the Bloodfire Heavenly Sect, the Formless Sect can still overturn the cultivation world of the Great Yen? Li Qingzi nodded helplessly. Han Ju said in a low voice, how about this? When Perfected Yin Lin loses, tell him to go back and ask his sect master and Taoist Calm Sky to come personally. Li Qingzi was pleasantly surprised that Elder Han was going to make a move. If they wanted to annex the Bloodfire Heavenly Sect, they had to suppress them completely. After all, the difference in strength between the two sides was too great. Even if they were to unite, the Jade Pure Sect might not be able to hold them down in the future. Li Qingzi left immediately. The battle between Xiao Yao and Perfected Yin Lin lasted for 5 minutes, which was an eye-opener for the disciples of the Jade Pure Sect. Elder Xiao was so powerful. When Xiao Yao used his 10,000 clones, there was no longer any suspense in the battle. Perfected Yin Lin was completely suppressed. Li Qingzi told Perfected Yin Lin what Han Ju said, and he quickly left. Inside the Khanate cave abode, Han Ju touched his chin and muttered, no, since I can't do the simulation with Enlightened Old Monster, I don't know his strength. What if he has a special secret technique or mystical power? Once the battle started, Han Ju had to kill Enlightened Old Monster and not let him escape like Taoist Calm Sky. Han Ju thought of his 6 paths insignia. In the future, should he leave the 6 paths insignia on the enemy first? This way, no matter where the other party fled, Han Ju would be able to catch him. In this case, Han Ju would have to strengthen the Heaven-Earth Mystic Yellow World-Piercing Sword Finger to the extreme. At that time, he would directly shoot at the enemy from his Cultivate Diligently Become Immortal Mountain. Just as Han Ju was thinking, a line of words suddenly appeared in front of him. Visit Light Novel World. Com for a better experience. Detected bearer of Khanate Providence, checking its origin. Khanate Providence? Han Ju was stunned. Khanate Providence? Han Ju was stunned. It had been a long time since he met a new Khanate Providence bearer. He immediately chose to check. Morong Qi, 4th level of the Golden Core Realm, reincarnated war god of the Upper Realm Divine Palace. His title is Profound Truth Divine Emperor. He was attacked by the immortal emperors of the demon race. His physical body was destroyed. His soul entered the cycle of reincarnation and came to the mortal world. In the cycle of reincarnation, his soul slowly recovered. Due to the providence of the Divine Emperor, even as a mortal, his talent was unparalleled. Unconsciously, he was attracted by the ancient spiritual ginseng and came to the Jade Pure Sect. Han Ju was stunned. Divine Palace War God? Profound truth divine emperor? What level was the divine palace? How was it compared to the heavenly court? Hanju suddenly felt that the upper realm was different from what he imagined. It seemed the heavenly court wasn't the sole dominant force. There might be many powerful factions, and their relationships were very deep. Heavenly court, divine palace, Buddha. These were the ones he knew of. On second thought, it made sense. If not for him being able to detect the Khanate providence, he probably wouldn't have noticed these incredible existences. In novels, the protagonist would also encounter various geniuses, but he wouldn't be able to see through their origins. Although Morongchi was the reincarnation of profound truth divine emperor, if he was killed in this life, it wouldn't affect him much. Even if he regained his identity as profound truth divine emperor, he wouldn't seek revenge. God knew how many times Morongchi had reincarnated, just like Sun Chang'an, who was already at the 39th reincarnation. When he ascended to the upper realm in the future, he couldn't possibly take revenge on his enemies from every lifetime. Each lifetime had its own enemies and grudges. The ancient spiritual ginseng, who was the current Sun Chang'an, had attracted the attention of profound truth divine emperor. Would he attract other people with powerful backgrounds in the future? Sun Chang'an wasn't Zhu Beiji, but simply Tang Xing himself. Hanju used his divine sense to search for him. Morongchi and a group of cultivators were flying towards the Jade Pure sect. The leader was Guan Yu Gang. These cultivators were not wearing the Taoist robes of the Jade Pure sect. They had probably just been recruited. Hanju's attention landed on Morongchi. Looking youthful, he looked to be only 15 or 16 years old. He had probably taken the youth-retaining pill earlier. Hanju didn't think too much about it. Even if Morongchi wanted to eat the ancient spiritual ginseng, he wouldn't succeed as a golden core cultivator. Besides, the most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. Sun Chang'an was so ugly, who would have the appetite to eat him? Hanju started to think hard about how to make the Heaven-Earth Mystic Yellow World Piercing Sword Finger stronger. As he passed by the Cultivate Diligently Become Immortal mountain, Morongchi suddenly asked, "Is this mountain also from the Jade Pure sect?" The others were also watching, because the spirit chi in this mountain was extremely abundant. Yes, this is the Jade Pure sect's deity-slaying elders mountain. In the future, you are not allowed to trespass. Otherwise, you will be expelled from the sect. Guan Yiging nodded. He looked at the immortal mountain with reverence. It's here. What I seek must be on this mountain. Morongchi thought silently. Since birth, he had an extraordinary intuition that could help him find many fortuitous encounters. He had been to the outer sect of the Jade Pure sect before. Now the sect was famous in Great Yen. He didn't dare to barge in. So he found the place where the sect specially recruited individual cultivators and signed up to join. Is deity slaying elder accepting disciples? Morongchi asked. Guan Yugang snorted. Well, yes, but we can't disturb him. Previously, a monk knelt on the mountain for 5 years before succeeding. The itinerant cultivators were shocked upon hearing this. Kneel for 5 years. Such determination. Morongchi took this matter to heart. The group moved around the Cultivate Diligently Become Immortal mountain and flew to the main peak. Under the Fusang tree, Sun Chang'an suddenly opened his eyes. He patted his chest, secretly puzzled. Why do I feel uneasy? This was the first time he felt this way. Was he possessed? Sun Chang'an couldn't help but become nervous. He checked his cultivation technique to see if he had practiced it wrong. 2 months later, the sky was filled with purple light again, shocking the world. Again, that's right. Visit Light Novel World. For a better experience with his top-notch Sword Dao comprehension, Hanju entered the Sword Dao River again. The world also produced strange phenomena. The Heaven-Earth Mystic Yellow World Piercing Sword Finger, although a finger technique, was essentially a sword technique. It was very similar to the unparalleled finger divine sword. Using the finger as a sword, it shot out sword chi. He came to the Sword Dao River again and looked at the figures that he had surpassed one by one. Hanju wasn't surprised but rather nervous. Would he encounter that mysterious existence again? Not able to control his consciousness, Hanju could only watch. The Sword Dao River was bright. Hanju vaguely saw some memories of the sword cultivators. but they flashed past, and he didn't see them clearly. After a while, a figure in front suddenly stopped. Hanju's heart skipped a beat. It was the same guy again. Doesn't he cultivate? Is he always guarding the Sword Dao River? The figure was covered in sword light, making it difficult to see his true appearance. He turned to look at Hanju and said, "It's you again." Hanju said carefully, "I'm already at the Grand Unity area. I didn't mean to offend you, but I can't stop myself. Help me stop. Just don't hurt me." The mysterious sword cultivator was silent. An invisible force made him unable to move forward. Hanju waited nervously. "Strange, you don't have an illustrious identity from your previous life. How can you have such sword Dao comprehension?" The mysterious sword cultivator asked in surprise. Hanju answered, "Everything has a beginning. Perhaps I will become someone's illustrious past life identity in the future." The mysterious sword cultivator did not reply. 3 breaths later, the mysterious sword cultivator waved his hand and said, "The profundity of Grand Unity is not something that ordinary people can touch. Be careful not to suffer a backlash. Go back." Boom! Hanju felt dizzy. He opened his eyes again, and saw that he had returned to the Khanate cave abode. Hanju touched his chin as he wondered, why did he keep meeting that fellow? Did he have nothing to do all day? Hanju began the simulation trial, and raised Xiao Yao's cultivation level to the 3rd level of the body integration realm. With the enhanced Heaven-Earth Mystic Yellow World Piercing Sword Finger, Hanju instantly killed him. Follow current novels on Light Novel World. What a pity. Xiao Yao was still a little weak. Hanju suddenly wished that a 9th stage body integration realm cultivator could sneak into the Jade Pure sect. Only then could he verify how powerful his Heaven-Earth Mystic Yellow World Piercing Sword Finger was. At the same time, the phenomenon in the sky disappeared. However, the discussions of the cultivation world and dynasties did not stop. In the cultivation world, even powerful cultivators of the older generation stood up and said that a golden age of geniuses was coming. This was the 3rd heavenly phenomenon so far. In the eyes of the cultivators, it was impossible for all 3 times to be because of the same person. As a result, Hanju alone set off a golden age of geniuses and elites. Hanju quickly entered cultivation. A year later, someone appeared in front of the Cultivate Diligently Become Immortal mountain and knelt in front of the stone tablet. It was none other than the reincarnation of Profound Truth Divine Emperor, Morongqi. After staying in the Jade Pure sect for a year, Morongqi had not thought of a way to ascend the Cultivate Diligently Become Immortal mountain. However, every time he looked at it, his heart would throb. It caused him to have a strong urge to go up the mountain. In the end, he decided to follow Guan Yogong's method to become a disciple. He had to sneak into the Cultivate Diligently Become Immortal mountain first. Morongqi knelt in front of the stone tablet and began to kowtow. Hanju was focused on cultivation and didn't notice him. Sun Chang'an noticed him very quickly. After all, Morongqi had followed his example. After Morongqi knelt for a month, Sun Chang'an descended the mountain and stood in the array formation, smiling at him. "This person looks pretty good," Sun Chang'an silently thought. As Morongqi kowtowed, he noticed Sun Chang'an's arrival. He frowned and thought, "This person is so ugly." Sun Chang'an's ugliness made Morongqi feel a little nauseous. However, for some reason, he felt that it was this person who attracted him. The 2 feelings intertwined in Morongqi's heart, creating strange sparks. Could this person be the deity-slaying elder? Wasn't the deity-slaying elder supposed to be good-looking? He will bring me great opportunities. Visit Light Novel World. For the best novel reading experience, suppressing the discomfort in his heart. Morongqi gritted his teeth and said, "Senior, please accept me as your disciple." In Journey to the West, all the demons want to eat Tang Sung, the monk master for immortality. Hearing that Morongqi wanted to become his disciple, Sun Chang'an narrowed his eyes and sized him up. Hearing that Morongqi wanted to become his disciple, Sun Chang'an narrowed his eyes and sized him up. Sun Chang'an was also at the Golden Core realm. His cultivation level was slightly higher than Morongqi's, so it wasn't difficult for him to take in a disciple. However, he had to ask his master about this. Continue kowtowing. With that said, Sun Chang'an went up the mountain. Morongqi knew that the other party was testing him. He continued to kowtow. After arriving at the Khanate cave abode, Sun Chang'an told Hanju about Morongqi wanting to become his disciple. Hanju opened his eyes. His expression was strange. Morongqi wants to become Sun Chang'an's disciple? He thought that Morongqi wanted to eat him. Hanju asked, "What do you think?" Sun Chang'an said from the entrance, "I have some affinity with this person. If master doesn't object, I'll accept him." Hanju thought for a moment. The other party was the reincarnation of profound truth divine emperor. It wasn't bad to get close to him. Hanju replied, "Go ahead, you can bring him to the Fusang tree to cultivate. In the future, you will be in charge of him. He's not allowed to leave the surroundings of the Fusang tree without permission." Sun Chang'an was overjoyed and hurriedly thanked him. He then immediately went down the mountain to open the formation and let Morongqi in. Morongqi stood up and walked in front of Sun Chang'an. He knelt down and kowtowed solemnly, then called him master. Sun Chang'an was very happy. This was his first disciple. "Let's go. Follow me up the mountain. Apart from me, there's also your grandmaster, your grandmaster's wife, and a black chicken at the soul formation realm." Sun Chang'an introduced as he led the way. Morongqi was secretly shocked. This mountain actually had a soul formation realm beast. Is this the foundation of the Jade Pure sect? Wait, Grandmaster? Could it be that this person isn't the deity-slaying elder? Visit Light Novel World. Calm for a better experience. Morongqi suddenly noticed that Sun Chang'an was a monk. Could he be the monk that Elder Guan had mentioned who knelt for 5 years? Having thought this through, Morongqi was not embarrassed or angry. He could sense that it was Sun Chang'an who attracted him. The two of them moved quickly. When they reached the Fusang tree, Morongqi saw the black hell chicken. He was stunned by the Fusang tree. "What tree is this?" The black hell chicken opened one of its eyes and said indifferently, "Chang'an, have you told him the rules? If he decides to join our mountain, he can't cause trouble everywhere like Yang Tiandong. You have to discipline him well in the future. If he dares to mess around, I won't be polite." Sun Chang'an cursed silently. "Stupid chicken, who are you trying to intimidate?" Thinking that Hanju might be watching from the cave abode, he could only promise the chicken. Sun Chang'an made Morongqi kneel down and kowtow to the Khanate cave abode. "Endure today, freedom tomorrow?" Morongqi noticed a line of words at the entrance and pondered. He obediently knelt down and kowtowed 3 times. Just like that, Morongqi joined the Cultivate diligently become immortal mountain, and Hanju had another grand disciple. As he cultivated with Sun Chang'an, Morongqi was pleasantly surprised to find that the spirit qi here was very dense. Especially when he sat next to him, not only was he not disturbed, but he even absorbed more spirit qi. It was indeed a fortuitous encounter. Morongqi was pleased. It seemed that his intuition was correct. Another year passed. On this day, the sect master of the Blood Fire Heavenly Sect, Lu Bumi, and Taoist Calm Sky arrived. Taoist Calm Sky was extremely nervous. Although he had left a soul fragment in the Blood Fire Heavenly Sect, he was still afraid of facing Hanju. Hanju sensed their aura and immediately checked the Jade Pure sect. Lu Bumi, 7th level of the Void Amalgamation Realm, sect master of the Blood Fire Heavenly Sect. That's it? Visit Light Novel World. Calm for a better experience. Hanju couldn't understand. How could the Blood Fire Heavenly Sect dare to challenge the Formless Sect? But on second thought he understood. Their sect's strength was definitely the best around the Great Yen. It was also geographically far from the Formless Sect. This world did not have phones or a network, so it was normal for the information to be inaccurate. Out of caution, Hanju still used the simulation trial to fight with them. He fought both of them at the same time. Instant kill. Safe. The duo didn't fly to the main peak, but arrived at the Cultivate diligently become immortal mountain. "Greetings, deity-slaying elder. Sect master of the Blood Fire Heavenly Sect, Lu Bumi, and Elder Taoist Clear Sky are here to visit." Taoist Calm Sky bowed. He knew that the Jade Pure sect would definitely agree, as long as the deity-slaying elder agreed. Lu Bumi bowed as well. He was also a little nervous. Taoist Clear Sky said he was unable to defend against the Jade Pure Sect's deity-slaying elder. How could he dare to underestimate Hanju? Under the Fusang tree, Morong Chi's eyes widened as he said in astonishment, "The sect master of the Bloodfire Heavenly Sect is here?" He had previously been an itinerant cultivator, and had heard of the Bloodfire Heavenly Sect. To him, they were much stronger than the Jade Pure Sect. Sun Chang'an said expressionlessly, "Continue cultivating." Morong Chi nodded and closed his eyes, but his attention drifted down the mountain. Hanju appeared out of thin air in front of the two of them. The reincarnation sword intent erupted and locked onto them. In an instant, Lu Bumi and Taoist Calm Sky couldn't move. They felt as if they were facing death. Cold sweat began to seep out from the foreheads of the two, especially Taoist Calm Sky. He almost died of fright. Gritting his teeth, he said, "Senior, we have no ill intentions. You invited us." Hanju said calmly, "I hope that you won't be disloyal after joining the Jade Pure Sect." He put his hands on their shoulders and quietly left the 6 paths insignia. In the future, no matter where they fled to, Hanju would be able to track them. Hanju's cultivation was far stronger than theirs. They couldn't sense it at all. Taoist Calm Sky quickly assured them that they were definitely sincere about joining the Jade Pure Sect. Hanju didn't continue to suppress them and let them go to the main peak. For more, visit Light Novel World. How could the two of them dare to refuse? After the reincarnation sword intent vanished, they immediately bowed and left. On the way to the main peak after leaving the Cultivate Diligently Become Immortal mountain, Lu Buying couldn't help but send a voice transmission. "Senior, how can there be such an expert in the Jade Pure Sect? Could he be Taoist 9 Cauldrons?" "I'm not sure either, but he's definitely not Taoist 9 Cauldrons. He has long gone overseas." He rejoiced in his heart. It seemed that he had made the right move by joining the Jade Pure Sect. On the other side, Hanju returned to the cave abode. He thought for a moment, took out the Book of Misfortune, and started cursing Enlightened Old Monster. Although he wasn't afraid of the Formless Sect, they had many people. If they attacked the Jade Pure Sect, the losses would definitely be heavy. As long as Enlightened Old Monster remained injured, he could definitely hold back the Formless Sect. A month later, the Bloodfire Heavenly Sect officially announced that they would join the Jade Pure Sect. Lu Bumi would personally enter the Jade Pure Sect, and the affairs of the sect would be handled by the Vice Sect Master. Once this news spread, it shocked the Great Wei, Great Yen, West Abyss and the nearby dynasties. All eyes turned to the Jade Pure Sect. This sect seemed weak, but in the past 100 years, it had indeed shown signs of strengthening. The news spread to the Formless Sect. After hearing this, Enlightened Old Monster frowned. Jade Pure Sect. He couldn't help but think of Xing Hongxian. Previously, he had wanted her to marry Dong Wangxian. With her cultivation technique, getting together with Dong Wangxian would definitely help him advance his cultivation. Unfortunately, she rejected him. Xing Hongxian was from the Jade Pure Sect. A few people were standing in front of him. Dong Wangxian was among them. He snorted and said, "What kind of sect is the Jade Pure Sect? I've never heard of it. Besides, the Great Yen is publicly acknowledged as weak. Master, I'll personally go there and capture Lu Bumi." Enlightened Old Monster frowned and did not immediately agree. For some reason, he felt that the Jade Pure Sect was very strange. Ever since he had asked Xing Hongxian about the marriage, he had often been cursed. Could it be that the person cursing him was from this sect? Some mighty figures had the power to affect karma. Could it be that Xing Hongxuan's husband was the one who had been cursing him? It was very likely. Nothing else could explain such a coincidence. Enlightened Old Monster had never encountered such a thing in the past. However, ever since he had invited Xing Hongxian, he was being cursed every few years. A month ago, he had been severely injured by the curse. It happened to be the time when the Bloodfire Heavenly Sect had negotiated with the Jade Pure Sect. They definitely couldn't clash head-on with this sect. Follow new episodes on the Light Novel World. Com platform. Forget about the Jade Pure sect for now. The battle with the Bloodfire Heavenly sect has lasted for so many years, it's time to end it. Our reputation has already been established. There's no need to exterminate them all. You should cultivate well too. Your goal should be to enter the heavenly immortal manor. Don't waste your time here. Enlightened old monster said with a deep tone. Forget about the Jade Pure sect for now. The battle with the Bloodfire Heavenly sect has lasted for so many years, it's time to end it. Our reputation has already been established. There's no need to exterminate them all. You should cultivate well too. Your goal should be to enter the heavenly immortal manor. Don't waste your time here. Enlightened old monster said with a deep tone. Dong Wuxian frowned. He felt that this was not enough. They had agreed to destroy the Bloodfire Heavenly sect. How could it end just because they had joined the Jade Pure sect? If this got out, wouldn't others think that the Formless sect was afraid of the Jade Pure sect? Master, be careful of letting a threat grow. Dong Wuxian said softly. The others looked at each other. They were all the higher-ups of the Formless sect. In fact, they also wanted to give up. After all, they were a cultivation sect, and not a mortal dynasty. The most important thing for cultivators was time. It was the right thing to spend time pursuing the Great Tao. It wasn't good to keep fighting. Moreover, the Formless sect wasn't in the demonic path. They didn't like killing. Enlightened old monster waved his hand. I've made up my mind. We won't attack the Bloodfire Heavenly sect anymore. Dong Wuxian was displeased. His master was good at everything, but he was not domineering enough. Although he was unhappy, Dong Wuxian did not contradict his master. After all, he was raised by him. After the Bloodfire Heavenly sect announced that they would join the Jade Pure sect, the Formless sect stopped attacking. This caused the disciples of the Bloodfire Heavenly sect to heave a sigh of relief. At the same time, they were very curious about the Jade Pure sect. Just how strong was this sect to actually make the Formless sect calm down? Lu Bumi arrived at the main peak of the Jade Pure sect. Li Qingzi had arranged a cave abode for him. He knew very well that he was equivalent to a hostage. If the Bloodfire Heavenly sect acted recklessly, he would be the first to die. Li Qingzi originally thought that the Formless sect would target them. He didn't expect them to actually stop. He immediately heaved a sigh of relief. Thus, the Jade Pure sect did not encounter any trouble. After the Bloodfire Heavenly sect joined them, they became the most powerful sect in the Great Yen. More and more itinerant cultivators and mortals joined them. Feeling a sense of danger in terms of cultivation, Li Qingzi started to let go of his authority and entered seclusion to cultivate. 10 years passed in peace. The most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. Kam Hanju was already close to the 4th level of the body integration realm. You are now 400 years old. You have the following choices. 1. Come out immediately and prove to the world that you are powerful. You can obtain the egg of a divine beast of providence and a random natural treasure. 2. Continue your seclusion and stay away from trouble. You can obtain a numinous treasure. Seeing the choices in front of him, Hanju didn't hesitate at all and directly chose the second option. You choose to continue your seclusion and obtain a numinous treasure. Congratulations on obtaining the supreme grade numinous treasure. Heavenly Spirit Bracelet. Heavenly Spirit Bracelet. Supreme grade numinous treasure. It can isolate divine sense and defend against soul attacks. Another defensive numinous treasure. Great. Hanju took out the Heavenly Spirit Bracelet and started to make it recognize him as the owner. After a while, he put on the bracelet. It was embedded with blue, silver, white, and red crystals. It looked very beautiful. Hanju felt that he was getting closer to the outfit in an immortal cultivation game. He looked more and more handsome. Immediately, he took out the Book of Misfortune and started cursing Enlightened Old Monster and the Vermilion Bird. Every time he took a break from cultivating, he would curse his enemies. It was like a habit now. In the past 10 years, Morongqi and Sun Chang'an's cultivation had also advanced by leaps and bounds. Morongqi was indeed very talented. Sun Chang'an was afraid that he would surpass him, so he did not dare to think about Qian'er anymore. He focused only on cultivation. The cultivation of the master and disciple progressed together and had a positive effect. The Black Hell Chicken was still at the 9th level of the Soul Formation realm, but was already close to the Void Amalgamation realm. It dreamed of the chaotic heavenly dog returning every day. It couldn't wait to teach it a lesson. After cursing for more than 10 days, Hanju finally put down the Book of Misfortune in satisfaction. He checked his emails. Those who had been beaten were still being beaten. The chaotic heavenly dog was still the one who had been beaten the most. Some good friends had also obtained fortuitous encounters. The source of this content is Light Novel World. It was worth mentioning that Suchi didn't do anything recently. If not for his portrait, Hanju would really be worried that he had died. Hanju kept feeling that a few of the icons in his friend list were gone. As for who they were, he couldn't remember, but the ones he paid special attention to were still around. This was the life of cultivation. It was normal to die along the way. Hanju didn't think too much and continued cultivating. He wanted to break through to the 4th level of body integration realm as soon as possible. Formless sect. Enlightened old monster was about to go mad. He had already stopped attacking the Bloodfire Heavenly sect. Why was that person still cursing him? Who could tolerate this? Enlightened old monster decided to personally go to the Jade Pure sect. He wanted an explanation. He immediately got up and found the other elders, telling them where he was going. After Dong Wangxian received the news, he immediately sought him out. He wanted to go along. This was a good opportunity. He had to kill Lu Bumi. Enlightened old monster originally wanted to refuse, but with Dong Wangxian pestering him, he could only helplessly agree. In a dark valley, Su Qi meditated and cultivated. Demonic qi wrapped around his body. He got rid of the cultivation technique from before and recultivated Devil Master's demonic technique. His cultivation increased at a godly speed. He was surprisingly compatible with the Devil Master's demonic technique. Even Devil Master was surprised. Devil Master was very satisfied with Su Qi's cultivation, but he was also very dissatisfied with himself. Recently when cultivating, he always encountered mental demons and suffered terribly. This time, Devil Master was disturbed by his mental demons again. His blood vitality was in chaos, and he had to stop cultivating. He stood up and said, "You should stay here and cultivate properly. There's a formation set up by me here. Not only can it guard against enemies, but it can also gather spirit qi suitable for your cultivation. I'm leaving." Su Qi opened his eyes and asked curiously, "Where are you going?" "I'm going out for a walk. Slaughter a few sects to relax." The source of this content is Light Novel World. Calm with that, Devil Master dissipated into a wisp of demonic qi. Su Qi hesitated. Should he take this opportunity to escape? Forget it. I should cultivate properly. Since his master did not make a move, it meant that he also hoped that he could use this opportunity to enter seclusion, so that he would not always need his master's help. Thinking of this, Su Qi perked up and continued cultivating. 3 years passed in the blink of an eye. Hanju finally broke through to the 4th level of the body integration realm. The increase of the 6 paths spirit energy made him happy. He took out the Book of Misfortune and prepared to curse Enlightened Old Monster and the Vermilion Bird as a celebration. "I'm Jilingchan. I'm here to challenge the Jade Pure sect. I'm only here to spar. There will be no deaths. Does anyone dare to fight me?" A proud voice resounded through the world, stunning Hanju. "Challenge the sect." Hanju immediately checked the other party's cultivation. Jilingchan, 2nd level of the body integration realm, a Tao disciple of the heavenly immortal manner. He has a conceited personality and wants to become the #1 cultivator in the world. He wants to roam the world and challenge everyone. He has yet to face defeat. A Tao disciple of the heavenly immortal manner. Hanju narrowed his eyes. He had long heard of the heavenly immortal manner. He finally met one of their disciples today. He immediately used the simulation trial. 3 breaths later, he opened his eyes and frowned. This fellow. What? No one from the Jade Pure sect who took in the blood fire heavenly sect dares to fight me? I'm truly disappointed. I offer 1,000,000 superior grade spirit stones. The spirit stones will belong to whoever wins. 1,000,000 spirit stones is not enough? I'll offer another numinous treasure. The most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. No way. Are the people in the Jade Pure sect all cowards? Fuck you. Are you all dead? No one is coming out. The people of the Jade Pure sect were stunned by Ji Lingchan's provocation. The people of the Jade Pure sect were stunned by Ji Lingchan's provocation. They rarely encountered such a challenge that was common in the mortal martial arts world. Li Qingzi was still in seclusion and didn't mind Ji Lingchan's words. If the sky collapsed, Elder Han and Elder Xiao would hold it up. However, Xiao Yao felt that the other party was not simple. He didn't want to take the risk and wanted Han Ju to help. Han Ju found it troublesome and wanted Xiao Yao to accept the challenge. If he lost, so be it. He just had to send Ji Lingchan away. The other elders felt that the other party was definitely very strong and did not dare to appear. The disciples were even more so. Thus, an awkward situation ensued. A body integration realm cultivator challenged them, but no one came out to receive him. If no one comes out within 10 breaths, I'll flatten your sect. Ji Lingchan shouted angrily. At that moment, he was halfway up the mountain, looking at the distant 18 peaks. Dressed in white and with a handsome face, he was cool and had the bearing of a genius. Ji Lingchan was furious. No one from the Jade Pure sect came out. Even if they didn't dare to face the challenge, they should at least come out and beg for mercy. Ji Lingchan became even more furious. He took out a sword and prepared to cut down the Jade Pure sect's 18 peaks. Fellow Taoist, you're amazing. The Jade Pure sect is inferior to you. We admit defeat. Han Ju's voice drifted into Ji Lingchan's ears. Let him win. Han Ju didn't care about winning or losing. He just hoped that it wouldn't be troublesome. Ji Lingchan frowned when he heard this. I choose you. Come out and fight me. You're already here. How can you just admit defeat like that? Fellow Taoist, why are you so angry? Did our sect offend you? Not before this, but now I'm offended. Must we fight? Come out, or I'll trample your Jade Pure sect. Ji Lingchan shouted domineeringly. He felt great after saying these words. How dare you neglect me? Ji Lingchan was a Tao disciple of the heavenly immortal manner. Coupled with his cultivation at the body integration realm, very few people dared to not give him face. Follow current novels on Light Novel World. Most importantly, the Jade Pure sect was nothing in the cultivation world. How dare such a sect put on airs? Today he would teach them the rules. Han Ju frowned. He was angry too. This fellow was really pushing his luck. Are you still not coming out? Do you want me to force you out? Ji Lingchan shouted angrily. His cold attitude was the most infuriating. Just as he finished speaking, a sword chi suddenly shot out from the immortal mountain like a bolt of lightning, extremely fast. So fast, Ji Lingchan's expression changed. He instinctively raised his sword to block. Boom! The sword chi flew past the mountains, heading straight for him. Before Ji Lingchan could even cast a spell, the sword chi engulfed him. His body was crushed into bits, leaving only his essence soul holding the sword. The domineering reincarnation sword intent did not destroy his essence soul, only because a golden dragon was coiling around it. That's right, a golden dragon. The golden dragon looked both real and illusory. Cracks appeared on its body, and it almost could not block the heaven-earth mystic yellow world-piercing sword finger. Just as Han Ju was about to point again, the golden dragon shouted, Wait! We can talk. I apologize on behalf of this stupid junior. Han Ju stopped and said, I've already admitted defeat, but he's going too far. He still wants to destroy my sect. I don't want to cause trouble, but I'm definitely not afraid of it. Ji Lingchan was still in a state of shock. Impossible. That move just now. I couldn't even take a single blow from him. Ji Lingchan's Tao heart shattered. Seeing that Han Ju didn't continue to attack, the golden dragon heaved a sigh of relief and said, Fellow Taoist, this is indeed Lingchan's fault. If you let him go, we'll leave immediately. Taoist Ji Kong has a favorable impression of you. Current favorability, 1 star. The most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. Han Ju immediately checked his information. Taoist Ji Kong. 7th level of the Tribulation Transcendence Realm. one of the 12 Taoists of the heavenly immortal manner. Because you didn't directly kill Jilingshan, he developed a favorable impression of you. Current favorability, 1 star. 7th level of the Tribulation Transcendence Realm. Hanju was instantly blinded. If such an existence had a favorable impression of him, there shouldn't be any enmity, right? Hanju said. I hope that you will keep your word. You can leave. Taoist Jikong's favorability towards you has increased. Current favorability, 3 stars. The Golden Dragon was satisfied. He felt that Hanju had a good character. This was indeed Jilingshan's fault, and his mystical power could only protect the essence soul. If Hanju wanted to kill Jilingshan, he couldn't stop him. Moreover, he had yet to reveal his identity, which meant that the other party did not stop because he was afraid of his identity. The Golden Dragon said in a low voice, Fool, apologize to this fellow Taoist. Go back to seclusion after this matter ends. You are not to come out for 100 years. He was truly infuriated. He had been cultivating just a moment ago, but he had sensed that Jilingshan was in danger. Through the Golden Dragon, he had already understood everything. Such actions were simply an insult to the heavenly immortal manner. Jilingshan seemed as if he'd been struck by lightning, and he said agitatedly, Master, I just came out. He wanted to vomit blood. He had only been out for less than 5 years, and had been looking for a suitable opponent. He couldn't be bothered to deal with weak sections. He had finally decided to look for the Jade Pure sect, but before he could do anything, he had nearly died. Jilingshan sank into depression. Was the outside world always so ridiculous? He was a body integration realm cultivator. Hanju had a strange expression. No wonder he had never lost a fight. He had only just come out. Apologize now. The Golden Dragon roared angrily. Jilingshan hurriedly apologized while trembling. Then, the Golden Dragon looked in the direction of the Cultivate Diligently Become Immortal mountain and smiled. Fellow Taoist, may I know your name? Guan Yu courtesy name Yunchang. Guan Yunchang? Good name. The Golden Dragon praised and left with Jilingshan. The situation ended like this. Jilingshan was still a distance away from the Jade Pure sect. The disciples didn't know what had happened, but the divine senses of the elders could clearly sense it. The deity-slaying elder was too powerful. Xiao Yao and Lu Bumi were both shocked. Heaven-earth mystic yellow world-piercing sword fingers sent chills down their spines. They thought for a moment and couldn't help but shiver. If it were them, they wouldn't be able to withstand the attack. In seclusion, Li Qingzi smiled proudly. Elder Han was indeed their lucky star. He had never disappointed them. How comfortable. Under the Fusang tree, Morong Qi started to worship Hanju. His favorability soared to 4 stars. Hanju didn't mind and continued cultivating. Several days later, Jilingshan has a favorable impression of you. Current favorability, 2 stars. It seemed like Taoist Jikong had educated him and made him grateful to Hanju. Hanju couldn't help but have a good impression of the heavenly immortal manner. This was a true holy land. Magnificent. To celebrate that no enmity arose between them, Hanju took out the Book of Misfortune and completed his daily mission. On the other side, Guan Yu's name spread throughout the heavenly immortal manor. Jilingshan was a famous genius of the manor. They didn't expect him to be beaten back the moment he stepped out. Jilingshan bragged about Guan Yu, saying that the latter was the #1 cultivator in the Jade Pure sect. Even his master Taoist Jikong admired him. The stronger Guan Yu was, the less embarrassing this loss became. As he bragged, his impression of Hanju also started to increase. He probably believed it himself. Hanju wasn't aware of the situation, and his impression of Taoist Jikong improved greatly. He didn't expect him to work so hard even after returning. Follow current novels on Light Novel World. Com. Five years had passed since Jilingshan had come to challenge them. 5 years had passed since Jilingshan had come to challenge them. In the past 5 years, the Jade Pure sect had been very smooth sailing. They hadn't encountered any major tribulations. The entire sect had been in a state of cultivation. The cultivation level of the disciples of the Blood Fire Heavenly sect was generally higher than that of the Jade Pure sect disciples. If they wanted to truly subdue the Bloodfire Heavenly sect, they had to increase their cultivation level. In a quiet hall, a black-robed Emoju was meditating. Ever since she was betrayed by Hanju, she had been locked up here and couldn't leave. The sect didn't mistreat her. Whatever she wanted, they would satisfy her, including cultivation treasures. Unable to escape, Emoju focused on cultivation. After so many years, her cultivation level had already reached the 8th level of the Golden Core realm. Her cultivation speed could be considered fast. The reason why it was so fast was due to Taoist Nine Cauldrons' transformation of the sect. Not only her, but the average cultivation speed of the Jade Pure sect disciples had increased by more than 2 times. Emoju frowned. There was a hint of murderous intent between her eyebrows. Kill your way out. Leave this place and avenge the Emo family. What are you waiting for? Your brother Emo Fujo is still waiting for your help. The strange voice kept ringing in her ears. It was as if a spirit was bewitching her, causing her body to tremble slightly. After a long while, Emoju suddenly opened her eyes and spread her arms. A terrifying demonic aura erupted and shook the spirit chi in the hall. It was invisible and tangible, like a shock wave that shook the palace. Emoju lowered her head and breathed heavily. Sweat poured down her face like rain. Why is this cultivation technique? Could the Emo family really be fiendish? Emoju thought with trepidation. What she cultivated was not the cultivation technique of the Jade Pure sect, but the cultivation technique of the Emo family's ancestors. Ever since she broke through to the Golden Core realm, her spirit energy had begun to transform. It was different from the fiendish cultivators she usually saw. It was vast and sinister, but not cold. She didn't notice that the demonic chi had condensed into a figure above her head. It had 2 pairs of wings and looked terrifying. Emoju hesitated about continuing to cultivate this technique. If she recultivated, who knew how much time would be wasted? She couldn't help but think of Hanju. His cultivation must be ridiculously high. She finally had hope of catching up to him, and didn't want to give up. Emoju gritted her teeth and continued cultivating. The most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. The same month, the Jade Pure sect welcomed an esteemed guest, the Formless Sect's sect master, Enlightened Old Monster. As the sect master, Li Qingzi had no choice but to step forward. Hanju caught the aura of Enlightened Old Monster and immediately tested him. He started the simulation trial. At the 7th level of the body integration realm, Enlightened Old Monster was naturally not Hanju's match. In the first battle, Hanju used more than 10 breaths of time. This fellow's mystical power was very strange. His physical body could resurrect after dying, and only when his essence soul was destroyed would his body truly die. After 8 trials, Hanju finally found a way to instantly kill Enlightened Old Monster. He was satisfied. 2 hours later, Li Qingzi brought Enlightened Old Monster to the Khanate Cave abode. Under the Fusang tree, Morong Qi and Sun Chang'an couldn't help but look over. They were puzzled. This was the first time Li Qingzi had brought someone to look for Hanju. Elder Han, the Formless Sect's sect master specially came to visit you. Would you be willing to meet him? Li Qingzi asked, feeling nervous. The Formless Sect was too powerful. Li Qingzi didn't dare to offend them easily, and could only bring them to Hanju. If Enlightened Old Monster had any ill intentions, he could sneak in. The entrance of the Khanate Cave abode suddenly opened, and Hanju's voice sounded, "Come in." Upon hearing that, Enlightened Old Monster smiled. He immediately entered the cave abode and closed the entrance. Li Qingzi did not leave, but waited outside the cave abode. He was a little nervous. Would Elder Han blame him? However, Enlightened Old Monster had clearly indicated that he wanted to find Hanju. If he refused, the other party would be furious, and he would still have to seek Hanju's help in a fight. After entering the Khanate Cave abode, Enlightened Old Monster saw Hanju, and was instantly stunned. What a handsome man! Even Dong Wangxian couldn't compare to Hanju, in terms of appearance and temperament. Sitting on the bed, Hanju asked, "Why are you visiting me?" For more, visit Light Novel World. Perfect timing. There's a path to heaven, but you don't want to take it. There's no gate to hell, But you insist on barging in. Don't even think about leaving now. Enlightened old monster walked to the side of the table and sat down. He smiled and said, I've long heard of the Jade pure sex deity slaying elders' elegant demeanor. I've come to pay a visit. In addition, I want to resolve our grudge. Previously, I didn't know that Miss Xing was your Dao companion. It was indeed my fault. Therefore, I didn't continue to target the Jade pure sect for subduing the blood fire heavenly sect. Hanju pretended to be confused. Is that so? Thank you, fellow Taoist. Nice bullshit. From the initial 4-star level of hatred to the current 5-star level of hatred. You definitely want to tear me into pieces. Hanju thought to himself. Enlightened old monster was very friendly, but he could see his hatred for him, and naturally didn't believe him. In addition, I've been cursed all these years. Was it your doing? If so, I hope that you won't take your anger out on me. I won't disturb Miss Xing anymore. Our two sects can also build a friendly relationship. Enlightened old monster said seriously. Hanju raised his eyebrows and asked in surprise. Curse? I'm not such a person. Besides, I've never seen you before. Why would I curse you? This fellow was amazing. He actually guessed that Hanju was cursing him. No. He had to be eradicated. Enlightened old monster cursed in his mind, shameless. Who else can it be but you? At the same time, he estimated Hanju's strength. Although Hanju was covered in numinous treasures, he didn't emit an aura that made his heart palpitate. Should I take this opportunity to kill him? He didn't dare to admit it, which meant that he was afraid of him. Once this person died, Xing Hongxian would belong to his disciple. The Jade Pure sect and the Bloodfire Heavenly sect would also be annexed by the Formless sect. As soon as this thought appeared, it quickly expanded to fill his mind. Fellow Taoist, let's stop pretending. I'm not here to blame you. I just want you to stop. Enlightened old monster smiled and said. Enlightened old monster's hatred for you has increased. Current hatred points 5. 5 stars. Visit Light Novel World. Com for the best novel reading experience. Damn it. It rose again? Hanju's eyes turned cold. Outside the cave abode, Sun Chang'an frowned and said, Sect Master, my master doesn't like to be disturbed. Aren't you breaking his rules by doing this? At that time, the Formless sect will know that the deity-slaying elder is my master. Li Qingzi was a little embarrassed and said helplessly, the Formless sect's sect master wanted to come to the Cultivate diligently become immortal mountain directly. He only asked me to lead the way, because he was afraid of ruining our harmony. The black hell chicken on the fusang tree was extremely nervous. Its cultivation level was close to the void amalgamation realm, but it still felt uneasy facing enlightened old monster. What did this mean? This meant that enlightened old monster was very powerful. Will master be alright? Should I rush in and run away with master? Boom! A loud sound suddenly came from the Khanate cave abode, startling Li Qingzi. The black hell chicken transformed into a black bolt of lightning and charged into the cave abode. The moment he did so, he saw enlightened old monster standing in front of Hanju. Master! Shut up! Hanju snorted and interrupted the chicken. The black hell chicken was stunned. It looked at enlightened old monster with wide eyes. Enlightened old monster no longer made it uneasy. This fellow was dead. Hanju said expressionlessly, I've destroyed his essence soul. Tell the sect master that the Formless sect's head is having a good chat with me, and intends to stay for a few more days. Follow new episodes on the Light Novel World. Com platform. The black hell chicken was stunned. The cave abode had not even collapsed. Yet master had already obliterated enlightened old monster's essence soul. How great was the difference in cultivation between the two? The black hell chicken left the Khanate cave abode and told Li Qingzi Hanju's words. The black hell chicken left the Khanate cave abode and told Li Qingzi Hanju's words. Although Li Qingzi was confused and worried, since Hanju said so, he could only suppress his emotions and leave. The black hell chicken returned to the fusang tree. Morongqi asked curiously, Master Chicken, what's the situation inside? More than 300 years had passed. The restrictions in the Khanate cave abode had long been elevated by Hanju. His divine sense could not enter. The black hell chicken harumphed. Didn't Master Chicken already say? Cultivate well. If you encounter a powerful enemy you can't defeat in the future, with your cultivation level, Master and I won't even bring you along. Morongqi was stunned. Sun Chang'an shook his head. He had long been used to the fact that the black hell chicken often talked about running away. Inside the Khanate cave abode, Hanju was checking enlightened old monster's storage rings. This guy had 4 rings. As the sect master, he was naturally rich. When Hanju counted, he almost drooled. With so many treasures and resources, it was enough to establish a sect. If he handed it over to the Jade Pure sect, they would definitely be able to soar even faster. However, Hanju was not so selfless. These are all mine. After searching for a while, Hanju suddenly found a token. The words Heavenly Immortal were carved on it. Beside the Heavenly Immortal token was a letter from the Heavenly Immortal Manor. The content was roughly such that by using this Heavenly Immortal token, he could register to join the Heavenly Immortal Manor, but whether he could pass depended on his aptitude. The Heavenly Immortal Manor never looked at the cultivation level. They only looked at the potential. After injecting spirit energy into the token, it would lead the applicants to search for the location of the Heavenly Immortal Manor. Once the applicants found it, the token would disappear. In other words, this Heavenly Immortal token had yet to be used. Other than the Heavenly Immortal token, Enlightened Old Monster actually had body integration realm cultivation pills. This made Hanju somewhat surprised. This guy is not bad. After counting, Hanju began to split his soul. He used the method of creating the heavenly puppet. He only needed to split a portion of his soul to control Enlightened Old Monster's body. Being cautious, Hanju still decided to divert the trouble. What if the formless sect had a backer? 7 days later, Enlightened Old Monster left the Cultivate diligently become Immortal Mountain. Sect Master Li Qingzi led dozens of elders and deacons to send him off. This matter caused a huge discussion in the sect. In the cultivation world they were in, the formless sect was definitely the most dazzling existence. Previously, they had crushed the Bloodfire Heavenly Sect with absolute dominance, causing their name to shake the world. In their eyes, there was still a considerable gap between them and the Formless Sect. Li Qingzi publicly announced that the Formless Sect would befriend the Jade Pure Sect and build a good relationship. This news quickly spread to the Great Yin and caused many sects to discuss it. After leaving the Jade Pure Sect, Hanju controlled Enlightened Old Monster to fly in a random direction. He moved forward very quickly. The soul fragment that Hanju left in Enlightened Old Monster could only last for a month before disappearing. He had to shift Enlightened Old Monster's death away before that happened. Thinking about it, Hanju didn't have any enemies now. The Vermilion Bird was in the upper realm, and the Demon Taming Sect was in the distant North State. He didn't know who to frame for Enlightened Old Monster's death. If there was no other way, he would push it onto the demons. In less than 2 days, Enlightened Old Monster left the Great Yin region. Hanju continued forward aimlessly. Along the way, he encountered many sects, but they were all too weak. They couldn't withstand the Formless Sect's revenge at all. He had to go to a powerful sect. There might not be one in the Great Yin, but there should be one in other cultivation worlds. Hanju had never left the Jade Pure Sect in his life, so he didn't know much about the other cultivation worlds. He could only stay as far away from the Great Yin as possible. Dong Wangxian was troubled. Before entering the Jade Pure Sect, Enlightened Old Monster was afraid that Dong Wangxian would cause trouble, so he was made to stay outside the sect. Dong Wangxian followed after Enlightened Old Monster. Visit Light Novel World. Calm for a better experience. Enlightened Old Monster had died too quickly. Before he died, he had yet to use his body integration realm spirit energy. Hanju controlled him to fly at full speed, so how could Dong Wangxian catch up? Master went mad. Dong Wangxian frowned as flew on his sword. As the distance between the master and disciple increased, not only did he have to chase, he also had to determine his direction. 2 figures appeared ahead. It was Zhou Fan and Mo Fuzhou. The three of them brushed past each other. For some reason, Zhou Fan and Dong Wuxian turned their heads. Their eyes met. When the two of them saw each other, their hearts inexplicably palpitated, as if they had encountered their natural enemy. Who is this person? Zhou Fan frowned. Dong Wuxian muttered to himself. Who is this kid? I hate him for some reason. The two of them didn't stay any longer, and vanished into different directions. Zhou Fan looked at Mo Fuzhou and said, that person just now made me feel uncomfortable. If he wasn't very strong, I would have dealt with him. Mo Fuzhou was speechless. He said unhappily, can you stop? How much have I suffered after following you? We're returning to the Jade Pure sect this time. Don't cause trouble anymore. Zhou Fan chuckled. I know. I really want to see their expressions when they see us, especially Hanju. Mo Fuzhou shook his head. Somehow he had a hunch. It was not Hanju who would be shocked, but them. However, the current Zhou Fan was very arrogant. Not long ago, he had severely injured a soul formation cultivator, so his ego inflated. Zhou Fan believed that even if Hanju was the deity-slaying elder, his cultivation level shouldn't have increased much over the years. The spirit chi of the Great Yin was too weak. It was completely incomparable to the other cultivation worlds. The soul formation stage mighty figures of the other cultivation worlds might not even be able to break through a minor realm in 100 years, let alone Hanju of the Great Yin. Half a month later, Hanju controlled enlightened old monster to a deep mountain. There were no traces of humans within 1,000 miles. Enlightened old monster continued forward. He didn't hold back his aura of the body integration realm at all, scaring all the beasts away. This content is taken from Light Novel World. Calm Hanju felt that it was about time. He found a random place, and left enlightened old monster behind. A great cultivator from the formless sect would definitely be able to track him here. Hanju made him land under a tree, and carve a word on the tree trunk. Demons! If someone from the formless sect saw it, their imagination would definitely run wild. After doing all of this, Hanju directly severed his soul fragment, which quickly dissipated. Enlightened old monster sat under the tree. His head suddenly hung down, and his hands landed on the ground without any life. When his consciousness returned to the Khanate cave abode, Hanju heaved a sigh of relief. That should be fine. He then took out the Book of Misfortune, and cursed the vermilion bird first. 7 days later, bored, Hanju opened his interpersonal relationships to check his emails. Your disciple Su Qi spread bad luck. Everything within 1,000 miles has turned barren. Your divine pet, the chaotic heavenly dog, has become a demon king. Your good friend Chang Yuer chanced upon an opportunity, and obtained an ancient cultivation technique. Your good friend Taoist Nine Cauldrons was attacked by a fellow sect member, and was severely injured. Your disciple Yang Tiandong was attacked by a demon king, X3. Your good friend Mo Zhu has awakened her demonic soul, and fallen into the demonic path. Her killing intent has increased greatly. Your disciple Yang Tiandong devoured the demon king, and his cultivation increased greatly. Your good friend Zhou Fan was attacked by a cultivator of the righteous path, and was severely injured. Fortunately, a mighty figure saved him. Hanju's gaze landed on Mo Zhu's information. Awakened her demonic soul? What happened to her? Hanju immediately probed the palace where Mo Zhu was imprisoned, and his expression changed. Hanju's divine sense entered the palace where Mo Zhu was. He didn't see her. Instead, he saw a huge black egg formed by demonic chi floating in the air. It was horrifying. Hanju's divine sense entered the palace where Mo Zhu was. He didn't see her. Instead, he saw a huge black egg formed by demonic chi floating in the air. It was horrifying. Terrifying killing intent filled the hall, causing the temperature to drop to the freezing point. Hanju directly moved into the hall. He walked in front of the black egg, and probed it with his divine sense. He could sense Mo Zhu's aura. This demonic chi had a very strong resistance. Even a void amalgamation realm cultivator might not be able to penetrate it. Hanju exerted some force, and his divine sense broke through the demonic aura and entered the black egg. He immediately felt awkward. Emoju was naked in the egg. Her snow-white skin was too eye-catching. Hanju waved his right hand. 6 paths spirit energy radiated out and sealed the palace. He rubbed his chin and thought, what happened? He could sense no other soul in Emoju's body. In other words, she wasn't possessed. However, her soul was transforming, becoming inhuman. What's the background of the Emo family? Emo Fujo also fell into the demonic path. Hanju continued touching his chin and thought. Emo Fujo was not simple. His cultivation was not too far behind Zhou. Not long after Zhou broke through to the nascent soul realm, this fellow also reached it. Hanju didn't dare to interrupt Emoju, afraid that she would suffer a backlash. The commotion in the palace caused Taoist Jingxu to come over. She wanted to enter, but was blocked by Hanju's 6 paths spirit energy. It's fine. I'm here. Hanju's voice was heard. Taoist Jingxu felt relieved. Because he had given instructions, Li Qingzi was also very careful with Emoju. Usually, no one was allowed to approach the palace, and Taoist Jingxu was in charge of it. After Taoist Jingxu left, Hanju continued to wait. Several days later, the demonic Qi black egg finally began to dissipate. When Emoju's body landed on the ground, Hanju immediately took out a robe and put it on her. Hanju's expression turned strange. Emoju's cultivation had actually reached the nascent soul realm. Most importantly, she did not transcend the tribulation. This was ridiculous. Emoju slowly opened her eyes. Hanju's face squeezed into her vision. She wasn't frightened. Instead, she looked at Hanju blurrily. She gently raised her right hand and touched his face. Compared to the past, the current Emoju was much more beautiful. Her charming face was even more enchanting, enough to move most men. Hanju frowned and said, Miss Emo, wake up. Emoju didn't seem to hear him, and continued to touch him. Pa. Hanju slapped her, and she immediately sobered up. Emoju covered her face and said aggrievedly, Why did you hit me again? Again? When did I hit you before? Hanju didn't think too much about it and asked, What happened to your Emo family? Why did you become a devil? Emoju came back to her senses and subconsciously looked at her body. When she saw that her clothes had been changed into Hanju's white robe, she was not afraid but pleasantly surprised. You changed my clothes? Of course. You saw my body? I didn't. I put on your clothes with my eyes closed. Why did you close your eyes? Isn't it because you saw it? Then I apologize. I don't want it. Anyway, you have to be responsible for me. From now on, I'll rely on you. Is this an elaborate scam? Scam. Hanju had a headache. It was a sin to be too good-looking. He believed that other than being handsome and saving Emoju's life, he had never cared about her. If it was Zhou Fan, Emoju would have changed her mind already. Emoju was pleased. Then she began to answer the question. I'm not sure either. Ever since I stepped into the Golden Core realm, I often heard a voice when in cultivation. At first, I thought it was a mental demon. Not long ago, I discovered that it was not a mental demon, but the will passed down by the ancestors of my family. The Emo family is not a fiendish cultivator clan in the cultivation world, but the descendants of true devils. The devils were once a race. After they perished, their cultivation techniques were passed down to the human race, and thus came the birth of fiendish cultivators. The Emo family can be considered a descendant of the devil and human races. For more, visit Light Novel World. Calm Hanju narrowed his eyes and asked, Will you lose control? If Emoju went mad and wanted to slaughter the world, how many slaps would he have to give to save her? Emoju rolled her eyes and said, I'm not a fiendish cultivator. How can I lose control? Fiendish cultivators lose control easily, because their bodies can't withstand the power of the fiendish technique. Their inner demons are the backlash of the devil's consciousness. Hanju said seriously, Then don't do evil and harm the innocent. The Jade Pure sect is a righteous sect after all. That's unless someone wants to harm you. Of course. The two fell silent and the atmosphere became awkward. Emo Yilling has developed hatred towards you. Current hatred points, 3 stars. Hanju frowned. He immediately pulled out his interpersonal relationships and checked this person's information. Mo Yuling's portrait was very beautiful, somewhat similar to Mo Zhu's. Mo Yuling, 5th level of the Tribulation Transcendence realm, the 2nd generation head of the Mo family. Trapped in a mysterious forbidden area and unable to escape the restrictions. She has chosen Mo Zhu as her successor and hopes to rely on her to save herself. Because Mo Zhu has feelings for you, she's hostile towards you, thinking that you are a hindrance to Mo Zhu's growth and wants to get rid of you. Current hatred points. 3 stars. A question mark popped up in Han Zhu's head. Mo Zhu suddenly took a step forward and mustered her courage. She stuttered shyly. Han Zhu, I have inherited the techniques of the Mo family's ancestors. Among them, there's a duel, a 2-person cultivation technique. Are you willing to cultivate with me? It's good for both of us. Han Zhu frowned. A month later, Han Zhu was done comforting Mo Zhu and returned to the Khanate cave abode. The first thing he did upon returning was to take out the Book of Misfortune and curse Mo Yuling. This woman wants to kill me? Could he ignore that? Han Zhu was afraid that she would one day break out of the restriction by herself and come to disturb his cultivation. At that time, perhaps because of Mo Zhu, he would be in a dilemma. It would be better for Mo Yuling to not come out. Thus, every few years, he would curse Mo Yuling. After cursing for 7 days, Han Zhu took out the pills he got from Enlightened Old Monster and started to cultivate. This content is taken from Light Novel World. Calm time passed quickly. Mo Zhu faced Han Zhu like a subservient wife. He told her to cultivate in the palace and not go out, and she happily agreed. After all, they had been together for a month, and their relationship had improved a lot. Han Zhu sent a voice transmission to Li Qingzi asking him to provide some pills to her. Upon hearing that Mo Zhu was already at the nascent soul realm, Li Qingzi was overjoyed. He immediately arranged for Mo Zhu to be a core disciple, and had Taoist Jingxu send her pills and treasures every once in a while. The Jade Pure sect was now a quiet tiger in the long river of history. It was quietly becoming stronger, not flamboyant or arrogant. 8 years passed quickly. Relying on pills, Han Zhu finally reached the 5th level of the body integration realm. He had also used up all of Enlightened Old Monster's pills. Cultivation at the body integration realm was very difficult. Han Zhu's cultivation speed was already pretty fast. A 400-year-old expert at the 5th level of the body integration realm. Who would believe that? On this day, Xing Hongxian returned. The first thing this girl did was to find Han Zhu. He let her in, curious about what she was going to give him this time. Xing Hongxian sat down next to him and took out a stalk of purple grass from her storage ring. The leaf flickered with a faint light. Husband, I found this in the land of the demons. During this period of time, I left the Great Yin and went to the West Abyss. This grass is not simple. When I discovered it, I saw 2 demon kings fighting over it. I took advantage of the fact that they were both injured to snatch it away, Xing Hongxian said proudly. Han Zhu asked in surprise, Are you so powerful now? Xing Hongxian was only at the 4th stage Golden Core realm. How could she snatch such a treasure from the hands of 2 demon kings? Xing Hongxian covered her mouth and laughed. Didn't I comprehend a mystical power in a mystic realm? The divine technique recorded a movement method. I've already mastered it. If I can't defeat them, I can still escape. No person or demon can catch up to me. Why did Han Zhu feel that this girl's luck had also improved? Could it be that she was influenced by his providence, as an immortal emperor's descendant? Han Zhu took the purple grass, and a line of words suddenly appeared in front of him. Detected that the natural treasure has the potential of becoming a Khanate providence bearer. Check its origin. This grass can become a spirit. The source of this content is Light Novel World. Com. A stalk of grass could become a Khanate providence bearer? A stalk of grass could become a Khanate providence bearer? Strange. Han Zhu immediately chose to check its background. Heaven and earth grass. 10,000 years ago, It was originally an ordinary grass. Then, an immortal descended to the mortal world and meditated around it. After 100 years of bathing in immortal chi, it gradually shed its mortal form. During the 10,000 years, it often encountered the calamity of destruction. Every time before it perished, it would instinctively turn into dust and scatter into the world, before growing again. This grass has the potential to become a divine grass, or even an immortal god. Immortal god cultivation potential? It was a little scary. Hanju raised his eyebrows. This life force was really strong. It had held on for 10,000 years. Hanju took the heaven and earth grass and smiled at Xing Hongxian. I'll take this grass. How have you been all these years? Xing Hongxian was even more delighted. She began to describe her experiences over the years. Over the past few years, Xing Hongxian had become the protagonist of fantasy novels. She traveled the world with her sword and helped others when she saw injustice. She fought against fiendish cultivators, barged into ancient tombs, hunted down enemies, and slaughtered her way into the demon realm. After hearing her, Hanju had the urge to go out and take a look. Wait! Hanju was alerted. This woman was definitely arranged by the heavenly Tao to entice him to leave. The first 400 years had been a success. Looking back, how many powerful enemies had been reduced to bones because they didn't know his strength. Speaking of which, he had few enemies. Look at Zhou Fan, Yang Tiandong, chaotic heavenly dog Su Qi. Every time he checked his emails, he saw them getting beaten up. It was the same for Li Qingzi previously. As long as he went out, he would definitely suffer. Now he stayed in the Jade Pure sect every day, and no longer got injured. The source of this content is Light Novel World. Only after leaving the Great Yen will we know how small it is. Take the West Abyss state for example. The Jade Pure sect is not even considered a second-rate sect there. We're only able to have our current reputation because of you, my husband. I think that you should be at the top of the list of the top 100 cultivators in the world, which has recently caused chaos in the cultivation world. The more Xing Hongxian spoke, the more excited she became. Hanju inexplicably thought of those people who went back to their hometown after adventuring in the major city in his previous life. And what was this list of the top 100 cultivators? Too shallow. Hanju didn't care about fame, only profit. After Xing Hongxian finished speaking, he took out some longevity-enhancing pills from his storage ring and said, "These are for you. Your potential is mediocre. I'm afraid that you'll die too early." Xing Hongxian rolled her eyes. "You only know how to tease me. I'm serious. Don't worry, I've already taken such pills, and also natural treasures. I have a long lifespan." "That's good." Speaking of lifespan, the eldest disciple of Jade Serene Peak, Lu Sanxin, died decades ago. The sect has too few lifespan-enhancing methods. If he had left the Great Yen as soon as possible, there might still be a chance. Xing Hongxian sighed, while Hanju was stunned. He felt that some people were missing from his friend list, but he couldn't recall them. Speaking of Lu Sanxin, Hanju still remembered that this senior brother wanted to take care of him. Before I could trouble him, he was already gone. Hanju said seriously, "Cultivate well. Don't become the next senior Lu. I can't bear to leave this world. I still want to accompany you, my husband." Then, Hanju asked her to take out the heavenly puppet. He wanted to upgrade its spirit energy. After a few days, he filled Xing Hongxuan's heavenly puppet with 6 paths spirit energy, and she put it away in her storage ring. The most up-to-date novels are published on Light Novel World. Calm with the heavenly puppet around, Hanju could also rest assured that she could go out and explore. Hanju thought that it would end like this, but Xing Hongxian pestered him for another month. Sigh. After she left, Hanju took out the heaven and earth grass and planted it in the cave abode. This grass was too small. If it was planted under the Fusang tree, it might be trampled to death one day. After planting it, Hanju smiled in satisfaction. He had been in a good mood recently, so he might as well curse the vermilion bird and Mo Yuling to liven things up. In one of the catacombs, the spikes hanging from the ceiling were sinister and terrifying, dripping with water. One of the inverted thorns was tied with a blood tendon. At the bottom were 2 people. They were Zhou Fan and Mo Fuzhou. Both of them had disheveled hair and ragged clothes, and they were covered in blood. Below them was a huge pot boiling with murky oil. Looking from above, the catacombs were filled with demons. There were countless of them, and most of them were napping. Zhou Fan gritted his teeth and looked in one direction. A giant demon had taken form. Even sitting, it was 50 feet tall. It had a strong body and wore heavy armor made of snake scales. It had an ugly and sinister snake head. A figure stood beside the snake demon. It was Han Ju's eldest disciple, Yang Tiandong. Humph. Demon's lackey. Zhou Fan cursed. He was extremely unhappy. Mo Fuzhou sighed. It's not his fault. If you want to blame something, blame it on our own bad luck. We accidentally entered Great Sage Green Python's territory, and you were rash enough to kill the patrolling demons. Zhou Fan was even angrier when he heard that. He cursed. That fellow is too arrogant. He keeps calling us mortals, and even wants us to kneel down and beg for mercy. Can you tolerate that? Mo Fuzhou smiled bitterly. It was too late to say anything now. On the other side, Great Sage Green Python laughed. Donger, tell me, how should we deal with these two? Should we cook them or refine them into pills? Yang Tiandong frowned and said helplessly, Foster father, do we have to kill them? Visit Light Novel World. Com for the best novel reading experience. They killed my demons, so they must die. Donger, if you want to inherit my power, you have to sever ties with the human race. Humans and demons are irreconcilable. This is the rule of the world. You cannot waver. Yang Tiandong cursed silently after hearing that. Do you think I want to be a demon? When he heard Zhou Fan scold him, his heart ached even more. Back then, he and Zhou Fan were caught by the Raincoat sect. They resisted together, and were beaten together. They were very close. Now, in order to live, if he watched as Zhou Fan got cooked to death, how could he face the Jade Pure sect and Hanju? When I become a demon saint, I'll definitely kill all of you demon kings. Yang Tiandong was furious. The reason why he left the Great Yin was that Demon King Dian Su was in charge of the demon race there. He couldn't control them, so he went to other demons. As he fought, he finally managed to control a demon army. In the end, he encountered Great Sage Green Python. Great Sage Green Python wielded 1,000,000 demon soldiers and had a high reputation among them. Yang Tiandong couldn't even withstand a single blow from him. Great Sage Green Python felt that his bloodline potential was not bad, so he took him in as his foster son. In order to survive, he could only live and wait for an opportunity to escape or counterattack. Then, he saw Zhou Fan and the other person getting caught. This affinity made Yang Tiandong very uncomfortable. Should I ask Master for help? This thought popped up in Yang Tiandong's head, but he quickly rejected it. I can't trouble him. At this moment, a hawk demon flew over and shouted, Your Majesty, a cultivator who calls himself Dong Wangxian of the Formless sect is shouting outside. He wants to slaughter all of us and avenge his master. He's too strong. We can't stop him. When Great Sage Green Python heard this, his expression darkened. He snorted coldly and said, Formless sect? Just nice. This king has a grudge against enlightened old monster. He rose to his feet. Terrifying demonic energy erupted, shaking the entire catacombs. Donger, stay here and watch over them. When I return, I hope to see them in the pot. Great Sage Green Python transformed into a green aura and vanished. Yang Tiandong looked at Zhou Fan and Mo Fuzhou again, feeling extremely conflicted. Visit Light Novel World. Com for the best novel reading experience, should he take this opportunity to save them. In the mountains, countless demons surrounded a man in golden robes. It was the Formless sect's Dong Wangxian. In the mountains, countless demons surrounded a man in golden robes. It was the Formless sect's Dong Wangxian. Dong Wangxian wielded his sword with both hands as he flew through the air. A red umbrella opened up and spun at high speed around him. It sliced through the attacking demons and blood rained down. Looking down, the entire mountain was filled with demon corpses. They were all incomplete and horrifying. Is that all you have? Where's your king? Dong Wangxian laughed impudently. High-spirited, His anger faded from the excitement of killing. This was what he wanted the most. Acting recklessly, being unstoppable. Boom! At the end of the horizon, a terrifying demonic aura suddenly rose. It broke through the clouds and shook the mountains, causing the trees on the mountains to shake violently, as if they were about to be blown away. Dong Wuxian suddenly turned around with a solemn expression. This demonic aura. This was the first time he had encountered such a terrifying demonic aura. It made his blood run cold. But who was he? How could the #1 prodigy of the formless sect be afraid? Dong Wuxian roared. Was my master killed by you demons? Great Sage Green Python's laughter followed. Enlightened old monster is dead? Ha ha ha. What a joyous occasion. You're his disciple? Then you can forget about living. I will cook and make soup out of you. Dong Wuxian's eyes turned red when he heard that. His master was indeed killed by these demons. I'll fight it out with you. Visit Light Novel World. Com for the best novel reading experience inside the Khanate Cave abode. After Xing Hongxian left, Hanju continued cultivating, occasionally sprinkling water on the heaven and earth grass. There were all kinds of spirit qi in the cave abode. The heaven and earth grass had developed a habit of circulating the spirit qi of the world over the long years. In fact, Hanju didn't need to pay special attention to it, as long as he didn't step on it. 2 years passed quickly. The heaven and earth grass had grown much taller, and the spirit qi here was much denser than in the demon region. Hanju looked forward to it gaining intelligence and becoming a grass spirit. That would be quite interesting. Heavenly dog, chicken gourd fusang tree, ancient spiritual ginseng grass spirit. TSK. Hanju even felt that he could open a botanical garden. On this day, Li Qingzi came to visit. Hanju waited for him to enter the cave abode and immediately asked, "The formless sect is here?" Li Qingzi shook his head and said, "No, but the Grand Elder is about to die of old age." Hanju frowned. There was only one Grand Elder in the Jade Pure sect. He was Li Qingzi's master, and had interacted with Hanju before. Thinking about it carefully, it was normal. Hanju was already more than 400 years old. In all these years, the cultivation level of the Grand Elder almost didn't increase. Naturally, his lifespan also didn't increase. "Do you want me to meet him?" Hanju asked. After all, they were old friends. Hanju didn't want to feel regretful like in Elder Iron's case. Li Qingzi shook his head and said, "Master has already left the sect. He said that if he didn't return after 20 years, that means he died. He asked me to thank you and said that without Elder Han, the Jade Pure sect would not be where it is today." Hanju remained silent. He might have meant that, but there was more to it. Hanju wasn't unhappy. He could understand the elder's concern. The source of this content is Light Novel World. Calm at the moment, he was quite comfortable in the Jade Pure sect. No one disturbed him. Li Qingzi and the others would do their best to satisfy whatever he needed. Elder Han, although my cultivation level is also increasing, I feel that it will be very difficult to reach the soul formation realm. If I face my end one day, who do you think is suitable to be the next sect master? Li Qingzi asked. His expression did not darken. He had lived for so long, and had sent away many old friends. He was already used to parting with them. The path of longevity was already filled with difficulties. If every mortal cultivated diligently and could live forever, longevity wouldn't be so crazy. Hanju shook his head and said, "I'm in seclusion all year round. How would I know?" Li Qingzi smiled and asked, "In the entire Jade Pure sect, the most talented disciples are all under your tutelage. Just now, I discovered that Sun Chang'an and Morong Qi's cultivation levels are both going to reach the nascent soul realm. Such speed is unparalleled in the entire sect except for you." Hanju frowned. Li Qingzi wanted to tie him and the Jade Pure sect together completely. If Hanju's disciple or grand disciple became the sect master, it was even more impossible for him to leave. "Sect master, I actually understand what you mean. These two are indeed talented. But there's one thing that needs to be said clearly. If I want to leave the sect in the future, the two of them will not be able to stop me. If I don't want to leave the sect, and the sect faces an enemy that even I can't resist, I will also leave in order to save my life." I have had only one goal in life ever since I was born, and that is to live forever. I can help the Jade Pure sect in pursuing this goal, but I will never abandon it for the sake of the sect. Hanju spoke seriously. Li Qingzi wasn't surprised. The reason he chose Morongqi and Sun Chang'an was mainly because of their natural talent. Although the Jade Pure sect was growing stronger, very few disciples were more talented than the two of them. Only a powerful sect master could lead the sect to become stronger. Li Qingzi already felt helpless. His potential limited him. The two continued to talk. Taking this opportunity, Hanju secretly gave him the 6 paths insignia. Li Qingzi treated him well, and Hanju also had a good impression of him. If he could meet Li Qingzi in his next life, he was still willing to help. In the end, Hanju agreed to let him take Morongqi away and groom him into the next sect master. Before leaving, Hanju suddenly asked, "Sect master, how's Fairy Shixian's lifespan?" Li Qingzi smiled and said, "Junior sister's potential is higher than mine. She even obtained a fortuitous encounter previously. It shouldn't be a problem for her to live for another few hundred years. She just returned. If you have nothing to do, you can visit her." He didn't think too much about it. After all, Hanju and Fairy Shixian were still master and disciple. Updated from Light Novel World. Calm Hanju nodded slightly. After Li Qingzi left, he continued cultivating. Morongqi was taken away by Li Qingzi. Although Sun Chang'an was puzzled, he wouldn't say anything since Hanju had agreed. Morongqi didn't resist. After cultivating for so many years, he was also a little bored. It wasn't a bad idea to go out for a walk. 5 years passed. The heaven and earth grass had finally developed intelligence. It couldn't think, but it had already grown by leaps and bounds. With intelligence, it couldn't be treated like grass anymore. Hanju gave it a name, Cho Chao. This fellow had the potential to become an immortal. To celebrate, Hanju took out the Book of Misfortune and cursed the vermilion bird and Mo Yuling. While cursing, he checked his emails. Your disciple Yang Tiandong was attacked by a demon king and was severely injured. His life is hanging by a thread. Your good friend Zhou Fan was attacked by a demon king and was severely injured. Fortunately, a mighty figure saved him, and he escaped death. Your good friend Mo Fuzhou was attacked by a demon king and was severely injured. Fortunately, a mighty figure saved him, and he escaped death. Your divine pet, the chaotic heavenly dog, proclaimed itself as the great sage. Encountering the encirclement of the demon kings from all directions, it was severely injured and barely escaped death. Your disciple Su Qi was attacked by a fellow disciple X-17. Your disciple Su Qi has spread bad luck. The luck of the demon-taming sect has declined. More than half of the sect has perished in the heavenly frost snow calamity. Yang Tiandong, Zhou Fan, and Mo Fuzhou were attacked by a demon king one after another, and were all heavily injured. Could it be that they were attacked by the same demon king? The source of this content is Light Novel World. Calm Hanju touched his chin and thought about it. He felt that it was possible. Yang Tiandong and Zhou Fan were good friends. They had been out for so many years. If they met, it was very likely that they would travel the world together. Although Yang Tiandong was seriously injured, Hanju didn't care too much. Hanju didn't care too much. He chose this path himself. Hanju wasn't his father, and didn't have to follow him every day. Besides, Yang Tiandong had the demon saint bloodline. He wouldn't die so easily. Hanju continued to try and break through to the 6th level of the body integration realm. As more and more people from the Jade Pure sect experienced life and death, Hanju became more determined to cultivate. Not only did he have to cultivate diligently, but he also had to urge Xing Hongxian and Mo Zhu to cultivate together and not slack off. In the blink of an eye, another 7 years passed. Hanju finally broke through to the 6th level of the body integration realm. The spirit chi of the cultivate diligently become immortal mountain was the most concentrated in the Great Yen. The Fusang tree, and the earth immortal gourd vine were both creating spirit qi. Hanju suddenly thought of the Grand Elder, and used his divine sense to probe the Jade Serene Peak. Fairy Shixian was still cultivating in the Jade Serene Hall. After so many years, she was already at the 9th level of the nascent soul realm. It was all thanks to the opportunities she had encountered outside that she could make such a breakthrough. Fairy Shixian, why don't you move to the Cultivate Diligently Become Immortal mountain? I'll open up a cave abode for you. Hanju sent a voice transmission to her. Fairy Shixian opened her eyes. Her temperament had become more and more otherworldly and holy. Her devastatingly beautiful appearance was not the least bit overbearing. It was the kind of beauty that people simply liked, like a fairy from heaven. Fairy Shixian frowned. That's your mountain. It's not convenient for me to go there. You should already know about the Grand Elder's issue. I've been cultivating my entire life. There aren't many people I care about. You're one of them. I hope to be able to walk the Great Tao with you. I don't want to be the only one left on the path of cultivation. If anyone else heard Hanju's words, they would definitely feel that he was asking for a beating. However, Fairy Shixian understood him. Ever since he entered the Jade Serene Peak, he had been cultivating diligently, and had not even left the sect. Thinking of the Grand Elder, Fairy Shixian's heart felt heavy. Although she had already sent away many of her fellow disciples, her master's death still made her feel a little uncomfortable. For more, visit Light Novel World. Come here. I won't disturb you without reason, Hanju continued. Fairy Shixian hesitated for a moment before finally agreeing. Hanju asked her to pack up and come over directly. He then stood up and left his cave abode to open up a cave abode for her. On a hill not far away, Sun Chang'an and the Black Hell Chicken were curious. Master, are you opening a cave abode for me? Sun Chang'an asked in embarrassment. He was already used to staying under the fusang tree. Hanju rolled his eyes at him and said, This is Fairy Shixian's cave abode. Fairy Shixian used to be my master, and is now my friend. You are not to disturb her cultivation, understand? Sun Chang'an suddenly understood. He had naturally heard of Fairy Shixian. The Black Hell Chicken asked, Does Fairy Shixian want to eat you? Are you asking for a beating? Hanju retorted angrily. The Black Hell Chicken might not have understood in the past, but now it definitely did. How dare it tease him? The Black Hell Chicken trembled in fear, not daring to say anything. Soon the cave abode was successfully created. Fairy Shixian also successfully checked in. Seeing her appearance, Sun Chang'an was in a daze. He strengthened his Tao heart. His master was right. As long as his cultivation level was high, some beauties would like him. Qian'er was actually just like that. He didn't have to die for her. For some reason, ever since he had mastered the heartless flying sword, Sun Chang'an was very calm every time he thought of Qian'er. He was no longer as restless as before. Hanju was relieved after Fairy Shixian moved over. As for Emoju, forget it. He would think about it in the future. She had outstanding potential, and did not need it for the time being. Furthermore, she wasn't on good terms with Xing Hongxian. For more, visit Light Novel World. Recently, Xing Hongxian had gone out again. With the heavenly puppet on her, Hanju wasn't afraid that something would happen to her. Hanju sat on the bed and checked his emails while using the Book of Misfortune to do his daily mission. The chaotic heavenly dog, Zhou Fan, Mo Fuzhou, and Yang Tiandong began competing on who would get the highest number of beatings. Some also obtained opportunities. What was worth mentioning was that the situation in the demon taming sect was getting worse. Hanju felt that it was about to collapse. The jinx has awakened his divinity. How terrifying is that? The fact that the demon taming sect could last so long meant that they were worthy of their reputation. In a vast valley, a huge silver-furred demon hound crawled halfway up the mountain. There were many demons in the valley, including the surrounding mountain peaks. The silver-furred hound was none other than the chaotic heavenly dog. After so many years, the chaotic heavenly dog was no longer as fat as it was when it was young. Instead, it was very healthy. Under the sunlight, its demonic body looked extremely handsome. At that moment, it was lazily looking down at the people below. Yang Tiandong, Yang Tiandong looked at the lofty chaotic heavenly dog with a complicated expression. He took a deep breath and said, "Heavenly dog, what do you think? Let's join forces to kill Great Sage Green Python and split the territory equally." Back then, Yang Tiandong had watched the chaotic heavenly dog grow up. Now its strength far exceeded his. It made him feel the difference in bloodlines. "Call me the Great Sage of Chaos." The chaotic heavenly dog yawned and said nonchalantly. Yang Tiandong was instantly annoyed. "Do you believe that I'll go back and tell Master?" The chaotic heavenly dog immediately jolted when it heard that. It bristled as it glared at him. "You still have the cheek to look for him? You haven't even gone back at all. How dare you talk about me?" Yang Tiandong felt awkward. He was indeed embarrassed to go back and look for Hanju. Ever since he had become a demon king, the seeds of power and ambition had taken root in his heart. He could no longer cultivate as hard as before. "We're from the same lineage after all. We should help each other. I heard that you're often hunted by other demon kings. It's quite hard to watch. It'll be a win-win situation if we work together." Yang Tiandong said seriously. The chaotic heavenly dog hesitated. "Great Sage Green Python is too powerful. Few demons in the 10 states and 9 dynasties can defeat him." Yang Tiandong said, "I can return to the Great Yin to invite Demon King Dian Su. He's a 10,000-year-old demon, and his strength is also unfathomable." The chaotic heavenly dog fell silent. "Great Sage Green Python is expanding madly. He will come to you sooner or later. The Formless sect knows this, right? All these years, the Formless sect has been frantically trying to encircle him, but all of them have failed. However, because of this, they have been exhausting Great Sage Green Python. This is our chance. If we wait any longer, you and I can only be his dogs." Looking down on dogs. "Okay, fine. We'll end up as his slaves." "No, we alone are not enough. You have to continue persuading the other demon kings." "All right." Hanju didn't know what the chaotic heavenly dog and Yang Tiandong were doing outside. Ever since Fairy Shixian moved over, his life had become a little more interesting. Every 2 years, Hanju would look for Fairy Shixian to discuss the Tao. Fairy Shixian also welcomed him. After all, both parties would benefit. Hanju's Tao technique was more profound than Fairy Shixian's, but he was inferior to her in terms of knowledge. Just like that, 8 years passed. Morongqi had already become the eldest disciple of the Jade Pure sect. With his invincible strength at the Golden Core realm, no one dared to question him. On this day, in the mountains outside the Jade Pure sect, Zhou Fan, Mo Fuzhou, and the purple dress woman with the surname Xian slowly walked forward. "I'm finally back," Zhou Fan shouted in excitement. Mo Fuzhou sighed. The Jade Pure sect has changed so much. The spirit qi in the nearby mountains and rivers was denser than before. Disciples flying in and out of the sky on their swords could also be seen. It looked like they were much stronger than before. The purple dress woman was very curious about the Jade Pure sect. She was most curious about her senior sister's Tao companion. "Go find Junior Emoju. I'll find Hanju. I want to see how powerful he is now," Zhou Fan said expectantly. For more, visit lightnovelworld.com. Forget it. The Jade Pure sect even swallowed the Blood Fire Heavenly sect recently. Hanju might be stronger than you. Forget it. The Jade Pure sect even swallowed the Blood Fire Heavenly sect recently. Hanju might be stronger than you. Mo Fuzhou shook his head. He had a good impression of Hanju, and always felt that he was very talented. Although Zhou Fan was powerful, he relied more on opportunities. Zhou Fan snorted. Isn't the reason why the Blood Fire Heavenly sect sought refuge with the Jade Pure sect because of the Formless sect's coercion? The reason why the Formless sect didn't target the Jade Pure sect after that was because Enlightened Old Monster suffered a tragic death, and they didn't have the time to find trouble with them. The Jade Pure sect might not be stronger than the Blood Fire Heavenly sect. Mo Fuzhou felt that it made sense. The disciples in the sky were not as strong as the disciples of the large sections. The purple-dressed woman's gaze landed on the cultivate diligently become immortal mountain. She frowned. The spirit chi in that mountain is so abundant. How can it be? The purple-dressed woman was shocked. Such spirit chi was already comparable to some hidden holy lands and 10,000-year-old cultivation families. At the same time, Hanju was teaching the black hell chicken under the fusang tree. The black hell chicken had already transcended its tribulation and reached the void amalgamation realm in the past 8 years. It had also transcended the tribulation in the 10,000 demon realm. At that time, all the elders had gone to watch and were greatly shocked. Deity slaying elders chicken was already at the void amalgamation realm. The sect master of the Bloodfire Heavenly Sect, Lu Bumi, and Xiao Yao were also shocked. Hanju's image in their hearts grew greatly. Master, what breed is it? It doesn't look like a chicken. Sun Chang'an couldn't help but ask. The black hell chicken flapped its wings rapidly at the edge of the cliff, raising waves of sword chi. That's right. Sword chi. Hanju taught the unparalleled finger divine sword to the black hell chicken, and it really learned the technique. When the feathers shot out sword chi, the lethality was also very impressive. Before Hanju could answer, the black hell chicken turned his head and scolded him. I told you long ago that I'm a phoenix. Did you really think I was a chicken? Ever since he had devoured the judo, the black hell chicken had transformed from brother chicken to master chicken. Of course it called itself that. You're not simple either. Work hard and believe in my judgment. Hanju touched Sun Chang'an's bald head and smiled kindly. However, in his heart, Sun Chang'an was only a small support character. At this moment, the source of this content is Light Novel World. Calm Hanju suddenly saw Imo Fujo, Zhou Fan, and the purple-dressed woman flying past the cultivate diligently become immortal mountain. Zhou Fan saw Hanju and immediately stopped. The purple-dressed woman's eyes lit up when she saw him. What a handsome man! Could this be her senior's Dao companion? Zhou Fan was very excited. He waved his hand and shouted, Hanju! Long time no see. You still remember me, right? Hearing that, Hanju smiled and said, I remember. It wasn't easy for you all these years, right? His voice floated into the ears of Zhou Fan and the other two, allowing them to hear it clearly. Imo Fujo's heart ached after hearing that. It wasn't just difficult. They had been constantly on the brink of death. We're living quite a carefree life. Wielding a sword, we traveled to the ends of the world. We were quick to repay gratitude and enmity. We even obtained many fortuitous encounters. Zhou Fan laughed proudly. Zhou Fan couldn't let Hanju think that he was doing badly. How about it? Do you want to go out and adventure with us? Cultivation still requires opportunities. It might not be good to stay in seclusion. Zhou Fan smiled and invited. At the same time, he flew towards the cultivate diligently become immortal mountain. Hanju secretly cast a spell and shut the mountain protecting array formation. The trio quickly landed by the cliff. The purple-dressed woman stared at Hanju with a burning gaze, making him very uncomfortable. This woman was not simple. Hanju immediately checked the experts in the Jade Pure sect and quickly locked onto a name. Xian Shirshir, 9th level of the body integration realm, junior sister of the demon lord. The demon lord's junior sister? My little sister-in-law? Hanju thought to himself. Follow current novels on Light Novel World. Kamemo Fujo cupped his fists and smiled. Brother Han, long time no see. You're still as elegant as ever. Hanju smiled and said, Brother Imo is the same. Zhou Fan looked at the black hell chicken and asked in surprise, Hanju, this chicken you raised doesn't seem weak. How could he possibly tell that the black hell chicken was at the void amalgamation realm? The black hell chicken was instantly displeased. What did he mean by not weak? Before it could speak, Zhou Fan suddenly took a step forward and said, Hanju, let's spar. I lost to you in the past. I'm stronger now. In his divine sense, Hanju was only at the 9th level of the Foundation Establishment realm. It was obvious that this fellow used special methods to hide his cultivation. Zhou Fan wouldn't underestimate him. In his opinion, Hanju should already be at the Soul Formation realm. After all, he had killed an expert who had just entered the Soul Formation realm back then. After so many years, His cultivation level had to be at the soul formation realm at least. Typically, in the nascent soul realm, if one did not have any opportunities, it was very difficult to improve by leaps and bounds just by cultivating. Hanju smiled and said, "You just returned. You don't have to spar with me." "Go and report to the sect master," Zhou Fan provoked. "Hanju, are you afraid? Don't worry. We'll secretly spar and not let anyone know. I just want you to see how strong I am. I've cultivated the domination physique and killed a soul formation cultivator. If you want to go out, senior brother Mo, and I can bring you along." Hanju was caught between laughter and tears. The black hell chicken couldn't help but scold. "Who are you? A mere nascent soul dares to provoke my master? You can't even beat me." Zhou Fan and the other two turned to look at it. Xian Shirshe raised her eyebrows curiously. A pet at the void amalgamation realm. This person was not simple. "Your chicken is quite wild." Zhou Fan smiled, feeling a little angry. The black hell chicken cocked its head. So what? It couldn't wait to show its might. Visit Light Novel World. Calm for a better experience. The chaotic heavenly dog had not returned. Sun Chang'an and Morongqi were very weak. It didn't dare to provoke Hanju. Zhou Fan looked at Hanju and asked with a smile, "Hanju, how about I teach your chicken a lesson for you?" Hanju saw that Zhou Fan was serious. If he kept rejecting him, he would also pester him. He looked at the black hell chicken and said, "Don't hurt him." The black hell chicken nodded vigorously. Zhou Fan was even more displeased. "What do you mean? Do you think I can't defeat this chicken?" Mo Fuzhou sensed that something was wrong. He actually could not see through the black hell chicken's cultivation. He sent a voice transmission to Zhou Fan. "There's something wrong with this chicken. Forget it. We just returned. Let's rest for a few days and find out about its origins." Zhou Fan ignored him. He turned around and walked towards the black hell chicken, his aura rising with each step. Boom! Cultivate diligently become a mortal mountain, shook as Zhou Fan's body emitted a terrifying aura. Wisps of wind that could be seen with the naked eye wrapped around his body. His muscles tensed up and his clothes swelled. His face was covered in strange blood patterns. Hanju looked at him curiously. This was the domination physique? The black hell chicken's eyes widened in surprise. Zhou Fan thought that it was afraid and smiled. "Little chickie, are you afraid? Apologize to me now, and I won't hold it against you." The black hell chicken flapped its wings and soared into the air. "Come on. Do you think I'm afraid of you?" Mo Fuzhou looked at Hanju and said in embarrassment, "Brother Han, this. It's fine. I won't let them hurt each other." Hanju shook his head. Although Zhou Fan was a little arrogant, his favorability didn't decrease. Hanju naturally wouldn't harm him. Boom! A strong wind suddenly erupted, causing Hanju, Mo Fuzhou, Xian Shirshe, and Sun Chang'an's robes to flutter. The four of them turned their heads and saw Zhou Fan punch the black hell chicken's cross wings. Its feathers shook as if black flames were burning on its body. Zhou Fan's smile was extremely sinister and conceited in his domination mode. The black hell chicken's eyes widened. "That's it. Visit Light Novel World. Calm for a better experience." That's it. That's it. Zhou Fan almost exploded when he heard the black hell chicken's words. He felt insulted. How dare a chicken mock him? He was afraid of offending Hanju just now, so he didn't use his full strength. If he did, wouldn't he blow this stinky chicken to the sky? Zhou Fan suddenly raised his leg and gathered his spirit energy in his knee. With unstoppable force, he collided with the black hell chicken. The black hell chicken was sent flying by his knee, while Zhou Fan leaped up as well. The man and the chicken rushed into the sky and continued fighting. Zhou Fan didn't look like a cultivator, but more like a martial artist from the mortal world. His punches and kicks were powerful and heavy. Each move shook the sky, causing the airflow to become visible. The black hell chicken had been defending passively like a sandbag, but anyone with eyes could see that Zhou Fan did not cause any substantial damage to it. In Hanju's words, this was like a massage. Mo Fuzhou couldn't help but ask, Brother Han, what breed is this chicken? Hanju smiled and said, an ordinary chicken. I caught it from a farmer of the Jade Pure sect, and raised it for hundreds of years. Emofujo was shocked. Xian Shirshir also looked at Hanju in surprise. A mortal chicken could be nurtured to the void amalgamation realm? Impossible. This chicken definitely had an extraordinary bloodline and fortuitous encounter. It was just that Hanju happened to pick it up. Potential was too important in cultivation. It determined the upper and lower limits. Sun Chang'an shook his head. This stinky chicken was too cautious. The reason why the Black Hell chicken had been defending was not to toy with Zhou Fan. It wanted to know what Zhou Fan was capable of. Hanju had told him before that some people had stronger abilities beyond their cultivation realm. Some also liked to pretend to be a pig to eat the tiger. The Black Hell chicken was very perceptive despite how silly it looked. It couldn't see through Xian Shirshir's cultivation level, but for her to accompany Zhou Fan meant that he was also extraordinary. However, after fighting for a while, it figured out the truth. Visit Light Novel World. Com for the best novel reading experience. This kid is really weak. The Black Hell chicken laughed. I'm not acting anymore. Brat, are you prepared to face the pain of failure? Shocked, Zhou Fan subconsciously retreated. The Black Hell chicken flapped its wings, and countless strands of sword chi shot out from its feathers, sweeping over like torrential rain. The speed of the sword chi was swift like a graceful swan. Zhou Fan had no time to react as his face turned pale. He sensed death again. Too familiar. After all, he had died before. At the last moment, powerful spirit energy enveloped him, helping him counteract the Black Hell chicken's sword chi. Boom! The Black Hell chicken's sword chi immediately dissipated. Zhou Fan widened his eyes. The spirit energy around him was extremely vast. This spirit energy aura made him feel as if he had seen it before. It was not Xian Shirshir's spirit energy, but Hanju's. Let's end this here, said Hanju, concluding the battle. Zhou Fan was stunned. Emofujo thanked Hanju and hurriedly pulled Zhou Fan away. Xian Shirshir did not say anything else and left with the two. The Black Hell chicken returned to him and said proudly, Master, how's my strength? I didn't embarrass you, did I? Hanju said expressionlessly. That woman just now was at the 9th level of the body integration realm. She has a close relationship with Zhou Fan. If you had hurt him, do you think you could have defeated her? The Black Hell chicken shuddered. Oh Lord! No wonder I couldn't see through her cultivation level. She's a 9th level body integration realm cultivator. The Black Hell chicken's smugness vanished, replaced by a deep sense of fear. Hanju shook his head and stopped speaking to the chicken. He returned to his cave abode. In less than 3 days, the news of Zhou Fan and Emofujo's return spread throughout the entire Jade Pure sect. In the past, the two of them had also been impressive prodigies of the Great Yen. In addition, they had betrayed the sect and fallen to the demonic path, making them even more legendary. The two of them were already at the nascent soul realm. Most of their fellow disciples were still in the golden core realm. When Emofujo learned that Emoju was fine and had broken through to the nascent soul realm, he was stunned. He was only at the nascent soul realm because he fought desperately outside. Emoju stayed in the Jade Pure sect and was in seclusion the whole time. Her cultivation level was actually not weaker than his. Emofujo doubted life. Ever since Zhou Fan had been defeated by the Black Hell chicken, he had shut himself off. He hid in the inn and did not leave his house. He could only let Emofujo visit his old friends alone. A month later, Emofujo and Xian Shirshir came to visit Hanju again. Zhou Fan did not come. In the cave abode, Emofujo thanked Hanju. If he hadn't stopped Emoju and she had gone out alone, she might have died. The Emo family had too many enemies. Is Zhou Fan alright? Hanju asked. He sympathized with Zhou Fan, but he had no choice. Who asked this fellow to challenge him? Emofujo shook his head and said with a bitter smile. He's still hiding in the inn, but he's fine. He has suffered quite a few blows before. He can adjust his state of mind. Brother Han, what's your current cultivation level? The void amalgamation realm? Xian Shirshir sat at the side and smiled. Hanju replied, about there. Fujo's smile became even more bitter. They were only in the nascent soul realm, but Hanju was already. Fujo wasn't a pretentious person. He immediately adjusted his state of mind and said, "We met your disciple Yang Tiandong previously. He has completely transformed into a demon and has taken the great sage green python as his foster father. If not for him saving us earlier, we would have been eaten by the great sage." Hanju frowned instantly. What the heck? Another foster father? Was this kid's surname Liu in his previous life? The source of this content is Light Novel World. Hanju was really speechless. Previously, Demon King Dian Su had already stopped causing trouble, and Yang Tiandong was still running around. If he wanted to run, so be it. In the end, he had to acknowledge another Demon King as his foster father. On the way back, we heard that Yang Tiandong and the Great Sage of Chaos colluded with the other Demon Kings to besiege Great Sage Green Python. They were completely slaughtered. Furious, he ordered the pursuit of Yang Tiandong. This matter caused quite a stir. Fujo continued. When Hanju heard that, he immediately checked the emails through his interpersonal relationships. Only he could see the screen of the system. Your pet, the chaotic heavenly dog, was attacked by demons, X10421. Your disciple Yang Tiandong was attacked by demons, X6982. Your divine pet, the chaotic heavenly dog, was attacked by a demon king. It was severely injured and fell into the 9 Nether Great Swamp. Its fate is unknown. Your disciple Yang Tiandong was attacked by a demon king and was severely injured. He encountered an ancient teleportation formation and escaped. Your good friend Huang Zuantian was attacked by a demon king and was severely injured. Your good friend Shengguan Qiujian was attacked by a demon king and was severely injured. Your disciple Su Qi was attacked by a fellow disciple X4. Your disciple Su Qi spread bad luck. The luck of the demon taming sect is declining. The sect's spirit Qi is beginning to collapse. Hanju was stunned. So many fights. From the looks of it, the great sage of chaos was the chaotic heavenly dog. He never expected that dog and his disciple to end up being beaten together. Xian Shishir suddenly said, "That great sage green python can enter the tribulation transcendence realm at any time. His cultivation level is unfathomable. I was almost injured when I saved the 2 of them. Even a 9th level body integration realm cultivator could not defeat great sage green python?" Hanju frowned even more. How did Yang Tiandong escape from the python's clutches? It seemed that the battle was very intense. Other mighty figures were holding great sage green python back. Was Huang Zuantian and Shengguan Qiujian among them? Huang Zuantian, 9 Dragons Sect Master, 1st level of the Void Amalgamation Realm. Shengguan Qiujian, Sword Elder of the True Martial Sect, 9th level of the Void Amalgamation Realm. Neither of them should be a match for Great Sage Green Python. New novel chapters are published on Light Novel World. Calm in the 3 Kingdoms, Lu Bu had a few foster fathers. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.